Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Talk podcast on the JB and Millie channel. So guys, today we have a really special episode for you. It's the biggest collab we've tried to do on this channel. We have invited back everybody who has been on the 5-Star Talk podcast to talk about the year they've had and their 2021 kind of goals for their channel, for their streams, and we're so excited to explore this with you guys. So we have some real familiar faces from the channel returning. Like we said, we sent out this invite to everyone that's been on, so it's quite a few faces that we are really looking forward to seeing again. Okay guys, so the first guest that we have today is absolutely incredible. They are Holly from the HollyCrossing channel on YouTube, and they do so much amazing Animal Crossing content. So Holly, would you just like to say hi and let everybody know where they can find you in terms of videos and content?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me on. So my name is Holly and I have a channel on YouTube and Twitch, HollyCrossing with one eye on YouTube and HollyCrossing with two eyes on Twitch, and I'm a varied Nintendo streamer, but I mainly do Animal Crossing because that seems to be all the hype's about this year. And yeah, you can also find me HollyCrossing on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah, I think that's the main places you can find me.
That's amazing, thank you. And so I guess, you know, the purpose of today is we're looking at just kind of like the year's progression and where everyone's heading next year with their content. So how have you found this year in terms of content creating?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. This year has been probably the most fast-paced year I've ever had. I did YouTube years ago, between 2014 to about 2017, on and off, and got a little bit of a following, but not a big sort of community, which is what I feel I have now. And I had a 3-year hiatus, and then I came back in end of April, and all of a sudden, within a few months, I'd got this following again, and hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, and now I'm going towards 5,000, which is kind of crazy. And then I decided to stream on Twitch, and I'm almost at 1,000 Twitch followers, which is insane. I never thought I'd be able to say that. So, but it's all been very fast paced, you know. Each week's been different, each day has been different. There's always a new situation that pops up that I'm not familiar with, and I've had to learn a lot, sort of technology wise and community wise and leader wise, and you know, all stuff like that, really.
That is so interesting, and I guess probably a part of like the reason why it's so fast paced this year is probably like, I think the pandemic would have a lot to do with it, because I think there's so many people, I guess, such as Millie and I, that have kind of got into this scene because of the pandemic, or back into it because of the pandemic. And so I'd imagine that in terms of, say, someone like you that has made content for a while, it's almost, I don't know if it seems a bit odd seeing so many new people pop up.
Yeah, it is weird. I definitely think the pandemic helped a lot of creators, and I think whilst we're in a weird world at the minute, I do feel like creators do owe a lot to this year. I think for a lot of creators, you know, we're seeing a lot of people get partner on Twitch, we're seeing a lot of people achieve a lot of goals in a much quicker time because the viewership is easier to get. Not to discredit anyone, but it is, you know, when you've got lots of people at home, either they've been furloughed or they're isolating, people are going to turn to content creators, entertainment, I guess. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, not a huge amount changed for me. I started working from home. I realized that I didn't have any kind of travel time and that I was going to be home on my lunch breaks. And so that's kind of been, I think that's helped me, because sort of going to and from work before just felt like a real chore. But being home already has made it loads easier for me to make content in general, and I think that's why I personally threw myself back into it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely see what you're saying there, because, you know, for a lot of people, a commute or something like that, it can add on like an extra 2 hours to your day that all of a sudden you can actually do something with. So it does seem to have freed up a lot of time for a lot of people. And coming back into doing YouTube and Twitch, did you set yourself any goals of what you'd like to achieve this year or in the first few months?
Do you know what? I sometimes shy away from goals because I find that if they're not achieved, sometimes I think I find it a little bit disheartening, and I'm trying to learn that that's not how I should maybe view stuff like that. But I'm very much, I'll just go with the flow. I find if I say, right, I absolutely need this by this date, I do find it stresses me out, and I then start to focus on that. But I do have a goal, and I don't know if it's unrealistic. I'm not really sure, but I would love to hit 1,000 Twitch followers by the end of the year. So we've got just over a month and quite a few streams until we get to 1,000. But I think that's my main goal. For next year, there's a lot of things I'd love next year, but whether or not, one of the main things for me, and I've mentioned this in a couple of my streams and in general, is that I am now in a position where I could drop a day of work a week, which is kind of crazy that I can do that, but I just would, thanks to sort of people being really supportive of the content that I do and everyone's generosity and just being really nice in general. So that, I think, is my 2021, is that I'd love to dedicate more time to content creating, mainly streaming actually, because the videos I find are, you know, fairly easy to do, and I like editing. To be able to stream a little bit more or just have some more time to recharge would be nice, I think. So that's what I'm kind of working towards, I think.
Like I get that completely about shying away from kind of goals, because it can be so different, and like you can have one expectation for another. Like I guess for us starting out, you never really appreciate how difficult content creation is before you've done it. So I guess we could start off in like, you know, first 5-10 videos going, oh, like I'm hoping this is going to get 100 views or 1,000 views and that we're going to hit this landmark.
Definitely. It's really difficult as well. I think it's really tough on the brain. I mean, setting goals is good and it works for a lot of people, but I do think if something is out of your control and then your goal isn't met, it's just really disheartening. So I'm very much go with the flow to see where you end up, you know, because a lot can change overnight.
I mean, I think that's really, really worked for you because, you know, in terms of seeing your channel and your Twitch, you have done really well and become really successful, especially, you know, things have really flown for you in the last, you know, well, this year with the pandemic and things like that for views. What part of content creating and things have you enjoyed the most, or something this year that you've achieved that you're most proud of? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Well, I've said this, so no one should be shocked that I'm going to say this, but as much as I love making videos, I think I prefer streaming. So I've realised that actually I think that is probably my strength above anything else, because I love a live environment. I've always liked the idea of things like radio and live podcasting and things like that. I'd say the thing I'm the most proud of, and this is going to come across really cheesy, but I am really proud of the community that's been built up. And I try and shy away from saying it's my community because everyone's a part of it. It's not my, like, I feel like although I might be what everyone has in common, but I do feel it's a joint effort. You know, people aren't just automatically nice, and some people have difficult days, and I'm just really proud that I've managed to somehow find this really nice corner of the internet where everyone accepts each other. We rarely run into any trouble with anyone, and I don't know, and also with that in mind, if I have run into any trouble, is being brave enough to acknowledge that And there have been some situations that I've never really wanted to be put in, but I have been put in them, and I'm quite an anxious person sometimes. So being able to overcome those sort of on a community level is, I think, yeah, it's really important to me. So yeah, I think I'm most proud of the community because everyone's just so nice and so helpful, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a wrong thing to think of it as your community, because you can get into that because you can become friends, close friends, in fact, with a lot of people within that community. Like, when Millie and I are playing, games online, off channel with people that we've met through the channel, it does very much get to a stage of it's just a group of friends, but we're the ones that happen to make videos. But it hits differently when you just see people having like a casual friendly conversation on Twitter, and you know that you've had a part of bringing those two people together. Even if you're not in that conversation, it just hits differently.
It really is. That's the perfect way to put it. Just seeing all these friendships come out of something that I've been involved with is, and you've got all these people all around the world who otherwise never would have met, and all of a sudden, I've got, they're my mods, but they're actually my friends more than anything, and I trust them with everything that I have. And I don't know, I think it's just crazy that you can, because it does feel like a big group of friends. I've always said I don't really see myself on this pedestal. I think some creators do, but I don't see myself on that at all. I'm a team player. I don't thrive off of power or anything, which I think definitely helps. I'm just happy if everyone else is happy, I think.
That's amazing, and such a good attitude to have, because like JV said, there is just something special about just seeing Animal Crossing, especially, is just such a good platform for nice people. And then to witness that niceness on like the comment section if you're doing a stream or something like that, and people start to get talking, it's just a really good feeling. Knowing that you've kind of contributed to that.
Yeah.
And there really has been so much positivity this year, and like I said, the channel doing so well for you. But is there anything that you found as a bit of a struggle, any parts of the channel or anything in terms of streaming?
Yeah, I struggle sometimes, and I know that everyone does, but I sometimes struggle with anxiety every now and again. That just really grabs me. The other day I was really anxious, and so that's something, and that feeds into a lot of other issues that I feel I've come up against, that I've struggled with. Sometimes it's making a decision for a whole community. Of course, with the Bobby situation, with him being in hospital, it's kind of, I'm one of the voices of that situation, and that's really difficult because a lot of people reach out. A lot of people ask me all the time what's going on, and I'm just in this position. I'm doing the best that I can, and I think as well is that wanting to respond to everyone, but knowing that you physically can't. Another thing is having discipline to, first of all, when to do stuff and when to stop doing stuff. I think because of how quickly everything felt like it kicked off for me anyway, I had days where I was barely eating because I was working so much, and because I also work full time, so I do the 9 to 5, and then I have to then find time to eat and have some time for myself, and so I think, but I also think I've learned a lot from being in those situations. So now I always make sure I have chill time. I try and take things slowly. I have a lot more evenings where I don't do anything. So that's so it's a lesson learned, but it is something that I've struggled with, I think.
This year has been, I don't know, it's been a very difficult year, and just reflecting on that, I don't know where our year would be if we didn't start making videos and finding people, but I don't know. Yeah. Obviously we're recording this quite a lot in advance, so with some good luck, it'd be great to see Bobby back in good health when this comes out.
Yeah.
But honestly, obviously on a personal level, it's something that really shook the community, but me personally, oh gosh, obviously I don't want to get into drama in this, but one thing that Bobby was so good at was, you know, standing up for people against controversial characters. And I just learned the other day that one of these controversial characters has come back, and it's kind of like I just remember sat there. It just depressed me for the whole day, and I was like, it's such a shame because the only one that could have really stood up and be vocal about it was Bobby.
Yeah, that would have just I completely agree. He's like the one person that he doesn't care what he has to risk. He'll just, you know, I might be a bit apprehensive about maybe talking about certain topics. You never know how things are going to be perceived, but he's so unapologetically him. You know, he speaks and he shoots from the hip, and some people don't like that approach, but the majority of people do. And it's one of those things where when stuff happens, I always want to know his opinion. I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? Because we message, you know, before he became unwell, we message every other day, probably, you know, so it's kind of, it's weird having that absence, and it's really noticeable for sure.
Yeah, there's so many instances where that's happened, where I've just like wanted to know his opinion on something, and just now with this especially, it's like the Joker's come back and there's no Batman to counter it.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah, you are right, it is like that, but I just hope that 2021 is gonna, you know, bring him back, and it's gonna just be a lot easier, you know.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to, you know, 2021, hopefully seeing him bring some content out again, because, you know, we've always loved watching his videos, so it'll be interesting to see what 2021 has in store for him. But we're also really interested to find out what it has in store for you. So I know you've talked about that potential to drop a day at work, and, you know, use that to push streaming and things, which we're really excited for, because we're really hoping that we get to see you achieve your goal before Christmas as well, in terms of
I hope so.
1,000 subscribers. So 1,000 followers on Twitch. But what else, is there anything else that you have kind of looking towards next year for, in terms of anything else?
Do you know what? No, there's nothing else really that springs to mind. Like I said, I don't want to set myself too many goals, because I don't want to get disheartened if for whatever reason I don't hit those, you know, because there's nothing wrong with not hitting your goals, but I think sometimes it can take a bit of a mental toll on you, and when you focus so hard on something and then you don't get it, it's really frustrating. And I've had that with streaming. I was almost at a point where I could apply for partner, because the Animal Crossing hype was there and there were way more watchers, and there's now less. And then I sort of got further away from that goal. And I think during that 2 weeks that I was really on, you know, I was really on the ball, I was probably the most miserable I've ever been streaming. And then I realised, actually, I need to think about 6 months ago, I would have been more than happy with an average of 70 watchers at a time. Like, that's amazing. And I need to acknowledge that. And then once I got into that mindset, I was like, do you know what, from now on I'm just going to be grateful and happy for what I have, you know, and put everything that comes my way to good use, I think.
I think that's the most important thing, is to make sure that you just enjoy what you're doing, because that comes across, and that's what makes, you know, it's what makes your channel so amazing, your stream so amazing, is you love what you do. And in terms of, you know, loving what you do and enjoying that, is there anything you would like to see Animal Crossing do next year that you think would make you enjoy streaming more? Any characters or any updates you'd like to see?
I think I would love a big, well, I think we all want this, but I'd love a big quality of life update. I would love to be able to terraform with friends, or even just decorate with friends. I would love for there to be more multiplayer options, mini games, things like that. I think that's probably it, because it's always pushed as a social game, but then they don't give us many sort of social tools. The reactions are really good. I feel they're kind of getting us in that sort of direction. I think that might be a hint to future things that we might get, where we can interact with each other a little bit more. But yeah, I think just quality of life, bulk buying from Able Sisters and Nooks, and I think that's mainly it. Things that are more convenient you know, because when I'm doing a build stream or I'm doing a speed build, I then, you know, it would just be a lot easier to get everything, and for giveaways and stuff, it would be easier. So, yeah, I think that's probably it.
Okay, well, thank you so much, because it's been so interesting to talk to you today, and, you know, exciting to kind of speculate on next year what's going to happen in the game. And we're really excited to see what happens for you as well. You know, we're really happy that you could have that extra day and that extra day of content for us to watch as well. So that would all be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
It's okay. Thank you so much again, and all the best for the next year. Okay guys, so again, that was the incredible HollyCrossing from YouTube, Twitch, and you can also find them on Twitter. Okay guys, and so our next guest is again somebody who is absolutely incredible. We've worked with them before on this podcast, and they are also involved in so many other amazing projects, such as Designcore and just so many other amazing things. So here we have Poké. Poké, would you like to just introduce yourself and tell everybody where they can find you on the internet?
Hey guys, I'm Charlotte. My channel's called HollyCrossing, and I'm predominantly on YouTube, but you'll find me on Twitter and Instagram as well for daily uploads of all things Animal Crossings, Pokemon, and anything else that I find entertaining along the way.
That's amazing, thank you. So like I said, that's definitely worth checking out, so make a note of all that information that you've just been given. She is absolutely incredible and really been pushing out some amazing content this year. How's content making been for you this year?
Pretty steep learning curve, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I didn't start my channel till May, and I've never streamed any sort of gameplay before or anything, so it's been a pretty steep learning curve, but it's been really fun. Like, it's been way more enjoyable, and like the community I didn't even realize existed. Like, I can't believe how fun and how many like friends and other people that I've met through it.
It really is an amazing community. It's certainly something that we've really enjoyed being a part of. And so when you like came into this in May, did you set yourself any goals, or were you just kind of looking to see what happened?
Oh, honestly, I was surprised if more than like 10 people was going to watch me sit and play Animal Crossings. But in the back of my mind, kind of the long-term goal was to kind of hit the threshold for the YouTube partnership program. So that's like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a 12-month period. So that was kind of my long-term goal. I thought it might take a bit of a while to get there, but that was a long-term aim. But like I said, I wasn't really expecting more than 10 people to show up. So everything's a bonus after that point.
And it's fair to say that you know, surpassed that 10 people watching, and
it's like 900 now.
Yeah,
it's
you are so close to getting that YouTube partnership. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if by the new year we were seeing you as a YouTube partner.
It's great. It is literally just a case of about 70 subscribers now, because you just hit the watch time, which is amazing. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like the watch time we've got dialed in now, which is like, I don't know, that's blown my mind that I've hit that amount of watch time. And then yeah, like I said, I think I've got about 75 or something subs left. So I'm hoping by the end of 2020 we'll be there or thereabouts, which is crazy.
That is amazing, and you know, such a big achievement in that time, and it's completely warranted. Your content is incredible. But other than that, is there any like other moments that really stand out to you from this year in terms of content creating, that something that you were really like proud of, that stands out to you as a bit of a highlight?
Oh, thanks so much, guys. That's a nice thing to say. But yeah, so I guess for me the biggest, there's been a few. Like, I think first time I had a video which went over 10,000 views, that was ridiculous. And then the landmark for me was when I decided to upgrade my audio and my computer settings. And like since that point, I've been like really proud of all the videos I've put out. Like the first ones were pretty like I said, a massive learning curve, and I can definitely see the improvement in quality since I upgraded and kind of got better at editing and all that sort of stuff. So to kind of look back on my first lot of videos to the kind of what I'm putting out now, I'm just massively kind of impressed at like how much I've learned in that time.
That's amazing. It's really good that, like, you know, because I remember, you know, the first time you came on the podcast, you were talking about, you know, how you were starting off, and just the fact that you got to a stage where you were like, yeah, I can upgrade this now. That is, you know, really impressive. And it is, you know, a really good moment where you do have a good sense of confidence in yourself. Like, I'm actually doing really well right now, and it's a worthy investment to do this.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to be that person with alt gear and no idea.
No, it's amazing. And like we said, so many positives for you, but was there anything that you kind of came across this year that was a struggle to you? Anything that you found difficult with the channel or creating?
I'd like to start with, I found like the whole setup was like a nightmare. I had a laptop that was sat on a fan tray because it was like maxing out its GPU, and I couldn't like get it cool enough to get the video quality without it dropping frames. That was a nightmare. So that was kind of like my biggest kind of sticking point at the start, was getting that to a point of being able to put out something that was watchable. But for the most part, I think it's just, though, it's been a very, very positive experience. I mean, it's always difficult not to compare yourselves to other creators, but then you've got to remember, like, a lot of these creators have been around a long time, and, you know, I just try and take it as a positive, and you will always get, like, negative comments, and I always get comments about my accent and things like that, but I very quickly learned along the way just to not let any of it get you down, and just to kind of focus on putting your best foot forwards.
Yeah, no, like, honestly, like, I can't imagine you getting negative comments about your accent, because, like, the Yorkshire accent, like, we're here to, I guess, half represent it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's quite endearing.
It's reminding me of being at home hearing your voice. I love it.
Yeah, to be fair, I like it. I mean, the best one, I got someone told me to get a dental plan. That was a good one the other day.
Oh gosh,
because that's really linked to accents.
I mean,
people are so bizarre.
It is absolutely crazy.
I get all sorts.
Like what? Okay, like what would you say in terms of that struggle though? How would you say is the best way to deal with criticism in the comment section or anything like that?
I think that it depends. Like, you get some which is a very valid criticism. So like, I had some comments about my audio and stuff at the start before I upgraded, and I think it's very important to kind of take on board what people are saying and kind of respond to it and deal with it in that sense. But I think in a sense of where people are just generally being negative for no reason, just basically trolling or whatever, I just ignore it. I don't even entertain the idea of it. It's just, I just see the comment, I just ignore it and kind of move on from it. I don't kind of engage in any of it because I don't think it's worth kind of bringing your mood or anything like that down just for the sake of somebody else's negativity.
No, and there's just really not a need for people to be so negative, really. And I mean, the way that JB always kind of tries to approach it to be a bit more positive is, you know, they may not like what you're doing, but at the end of the day, if they are commenting or disliking it, it's still just part of the algorithm. It's all just part of that YouTube world, and you know, who are they really to comment? It can kind of ruin some people's mentality, and it's very rare that you do get any negativity in this community because it is such a lovely place with so many lovely people. But it just is a shame that, you know, sometimes that, you know, the odd comment, and it's really good to hear how well you take it, but for some people, you know, one comment can kind of ruin a day, and you know, it's just a shame that there's people out there commenting like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd hate to think there's anybody out there who's like listening to this podcast who like really wants to start content creating or start a channel, and it's that idea of what people think about them puts them off. Like, there will be 1,000 people who kind of are there to support you over that one person who's there to kind of just unnecessarily bring you down. So I wouldn't want anyone who is listening to this to like not do it just because of that. Like 100% put yourself out there, give it a try, because I would recommend like content creating to anyone. It's so much fun.
It is, and like you said, for 1,000 people out supporting you, you nearly are there, and that's looking like a real goal for this year. Like, we're recording this at the very end of November. This will be going out at the end of December, so by that point hopefully you'll be there. And once you are, is there anything you'd like to achieve next year in terms of content creating? Is there any way you'd like to see it go?
So I'd love to like obviously continue growing. For me, the goal for 2021 is I want to try and get my schedule of videos is pretty consistent, but my kind of like work-life balance schedule a bit stronger, so that I can commit 1 day a week to some streaming. I'd really like to start doing some streaming with people, so I need to try and work out like a day a week that I can kind of fully commit to that. And then the other thing is just want to get like even more involved in the community. So I'm in the middle of building a Discord, so just trying to create more stuff that I can kind of connect with people and engage with people who are coming to the channel to watch my content, and just try and kind of push it to that next level in terms of community involvement, and just trying to grow a really nice kind of safe place for people to come hang out and get involved in gaming.
That's really nice, and it's also really exciting to hear that you're hoping to get to a stage where you can dedicate a full day to streaming. That is something that we especially will be looking forward to being able to see, because we think that you'd be absolutely amazing at that. That would be really cool to kind of watch develop.
I'm excited. I'm kind of excited. I'm a little bit nervous. But like I said, I don't want to start and then not be able to commit. If I start it, I want to be able to say, right, every Wednesday or whatever that's when I stream, so everyone knows when to show up. So yeah, I just need to try and get that worked out.
That is amazing, and we really, really do look forward to seeing that, and as well to seeing you hitting your target for this year. So just to round up, can you remind everybody where they can find you on the internet, so we can really hope to get that subscriber count boosted to see you hit 1,000 before Christmas?
So you can find me on YouTube. It's HollyCrossing, and like I said, I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, but for the most of my content you want to be over on YouTube. And just while I'm here, guys, if you're listening to this, make sure you hit that sub button to JB and Millie. Their channel is epic. They put out the most ridiculous amount of content I've ever seen. I'm envious of how much good content they put out. So hit that sub button if you're listening, guys.
Oh, thank you so much. We hope you have a great day, and best of luck for hitting those goals both this year and next year. We can't wait to see your amazing channel just flourish even more than it already is. It's incredible. Thank you so much again for being on today.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys. Look forward to 2021 with you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, so our next guest today again is an absolute treat. We have HarleyQ from HarleyQ's Playtime, and they can be found on YouTube with some absolutely amazing, informative retro gaming videos, but also they are doing some incredible streams this year. It's been amazing to watch. So Harley, would you just like to say hi and tell everyone where they can find you on the internet?
Hello. So yeah, pretty much I'm HarleyQ's Playtime. I do retro videos on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at HarleyQ. I think it's just HarleyQ. I actually don't know my Twitter handle. I should know that. I don't use Twitter that much. I should use it more. My Instagram is HarleyQ's_Playtime, and my Twitch is the same thing, and my YouTube's the only one that's different, where there is no underscore, it's a space. But yeah, pretty much if you type anywhere on the internet, HarleyQ's Playtime might pop up, so.
And it is so good. I think it's fair to say that you're one of our absolute favourite people on the internet. Your videos are always just so good, and especially with the new series that you've been doing, it's just awesome.
Yeah, your channel is one of our daily checks. Sorry.
Oh, no, I definitely need to post more. I'm so slacking. It's just I work full time, so it's so hard to find time to shoot, edit, and all this stuff. And I have all these video ideas that I totally want to do, and then some of it is financial strain, because video game collecting is super expensive, but then the other part is just time, and I've been slacking, I'm not gonna lie.
No, I think a lot of people don't realize what goes into making a video, because it isn't just the recording, it's the editing, it's the promotion of it afterwards, the description, the tags. Recording's not even the half of the work.
Yeah, and from what I've noticed, the more that I do it, the more intense my edits have become. It used to just be shoot, cut it all up, and post it, but now it's like I put pictures, I do like all this other stuff now, and it's, I mean, I have been shooting film and stuff like that since I was in high school, so I've been shooting for like, I don't know, almost 12 years. I've been doing video editing, so I know how to do it. And I know how to shoot to edit, but it's still just like such a long process sometimes, and it's exhausting. I love it. I totally love it, but it's exhausting.
So you said you've been doing this for, like, you know, in terms of being able to edit and that sort of thing for a few years. How have you found this last year in terms of creating content and streaming?
So I've been streaming probably for about, this would be my second year in January, would be the second year of streaming. And I would definitely say that this year I've grown so much. My channel has grown so much. I have so much more viewership. I have much more interaction. A lot of it is, you know, being in quarantine for those couple months, I had nothing better to do than to make YouTube videos and just stream. My goal originally was, when I created my YouTube channel, was to help promote my Twitch channel. And Twitch doesn't have an algorithm to bring people, but YouTube does. So they always say like, oh, make YouTube videos, but they don't never tell you what to make. And so I was like, I really like retro gaming, so I'm passionate about that. And that's kind of how the channel started. I posted one video, like 2 videos in 2019, and then 2018 is when my channel really got started. And I've just been kind of posting ever since. So,
and it's been going really well. We do love watching it. Like we said, we go through our subscriber list, and there's a few at the top that are like, okay, we check every day because we don't want to miss these. And yours is right up there with one of the first ones we check. We love it. So when you like started creating content and things this year, I know you said that, you know, your YouTube was to kind of boost your Twitch and that sort of thing, but in terms of the year itself, 2020, did you have kind of any goals that you wanted to achieve this year in terms of content creating or videos?
I think for me, it was more of like a numbers thing. Like, my biggest thing was I really wanted to hit before the end of the year, and then I hit. So I finally, thanks to you guys, actually, you guys did that shout out for me. I hit 100, and that was like such a milestone for me. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe by the end of the year I can hit 125 subs on YouTube. You know, which, you know, I'm at 117 right now. I check every day to see. But yeah, I try not to set too big of goals, because then I can't get like too disappointed if I can't get them. But yeah, that's probably my biggest one, is definitely the numbers.
I mean, you really deserve that. I mean, that's definitely an achievable goal, and we really, really would love to see you get there as well, because you do work really hard. Like you said, you know, your videos, they're always edited really well. You always edit in those, you like editing in pictures, you edit in the, like for your new series, you have all these graphs to research and edit in, and it's a lot of work, and you really, really deserve for that to like take off for you. Is there anything that's like stood out to you this year as something that you've achieved or done that's kind of like, you know what, yeah, that's like my moment from this year. I really remember doing this. This is something that I've really enjoyed.
Oh, definitely. You know, I have to say, meeting you guys was probably one of the greatest moments of this year, because I've built a little bit of a community on YouTube now with like the couple of people who come to like my channel and watch all my videos and interact with me. But like, just meeting you guys was, I'm gonna say, yeah, meeting JB and Millie was the highlight of my year.
That is amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and being on the podcast all these times, it's just, it is. It truly is. You guys have done so much for me.
Well, we're really lucky that we kind of met, because you really are such an interesting person. I think you're the person that's been on the podcast the most, and I think it's just, you do such, I think of all the creators we've come across, your content is definitely by far the most kind of unique. It's the one that you can learn from the most. It's, like you said, it's kind of variety gaming in that there's games that we remember from when we were a kid, or just because like you collect so many things. So you've talked about like trying to collect every Wii U game, and that's one of JB's like most underrated consoles that he doesn't think that anybody else has ever appreciated enough. And there's just so much where it's like, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just so good, like, oh, you've just always been so friendly. I think when we first like approached you, we saw your island tour, and I think at the time we had about like 2 subscribers, and I was just really nervous, but we decided to just comment saying, oh hey, can we like visit your island? And oh, it's just so good. I mean, there's like so many people that like you can reach out to and you get blanked or something, but it's just, I don't know, it's always crazy, and that's why I'd
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, I'd always suggest that people don't hesitate and they make that video, because even if that video might seem like a bit of a niche, it could always lead to like a meeting that would just be awesome.
And it's funny because in the beginning of that video, it was supposed to be one of my monthly pickup videos, but because it was in like around like the height of the pandemic in New York, I was too scared to go out anywhere. So I was like really into I still am into Animal Crossing, but like I was super into Animal Crossing at the time. So I was like, I'm just gonna do an island tour. And then I saw your comment and I was like, oh, that's a spam comment. Like, I'm not gonna really, and I don't know what possessed me to like actually answer it, and it was probably one of the greatest things I ever did was I'll be like, yeah, okay, you can come tour my island.
Oh, that's so good. Like, oh, it is. I wasn't nervous, but it's just so good. Oh, I love that. That's brilliant.
And I think our next question for you is, a lot of people have kind of found, for all there's been some, great parts of content creating this year, in that a lot of people, for all the world's kind of been in a bad place, people have had more time to view videos, people have had more time to create videos. So in terms of content creating, there's been, some good for some people. But is there anything that you kind of stumbled across in terms of content creating or streaming that's proved to be more difficult for you this year, or something that's been a bit more of a challenge?
I will say it's been pretty good for me, at least as soon as I went back to work, it's been difficult for me to stream and do all that stuff because I work Monday through Friday and I work all day long, and usually by the time I'm done, I'm exhausted, and I stream like Friday to Sunday or whatever. And I've been trying to stream more, and I've been trying to content create more, but it's like, it's exhausting for me. But I will say, at least since the pandemic and all of the people having all that free time, I've noticed there's been a lot more people posting stuff, so it kind of makes, or even streaming, and it's more people streaming means less people to view you, so it's, that it's even harder for people to find you.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a good thing, because people are doing stuff that they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance, because like you said, more people creating, so it's less viewers, and I guess I've never looked at it from that perspective, because...
No, because we always kind of look at it as, I suppose, a good thing for, I guess, consumers, in that the more people content creating, the more people you can enjoy, and obviously with more people at home, the more people willing to watch a certain topic. But that is a really good perspective, because obviously you can't watch every single video on the same topic, so that's really interesting.
It is.
And I didn't really think about it that way until because when I was posting YouTube videos, I wasn't thinking about numbers that way, but I noticed it more with streaming. I noticed it a lot with streaming, because I mean they're basically the same thing when it comes to that kind of stuff, but it's the same thing. I was like, oh well, there's so much more people who are streaming now or working from home or whatever, that they have time to do these things. And I'm like, well, it kind of ties into YouTube too. How many videos are you going to watch about somebody talking about PlayStation 2 games before you're like, all right, I'm done with this,
I guess it is kind of different with a stream, in that I guess the unique selling point of a stream is interacting with the creator immediately, so you could put something in the chat, a question in the chat that they can instantly respond to, whereas with a video it's like almost like putting something like on demand on an iPlayer. You can pretty much dip in and out of it as you please, and you're not really missing out on any aspect. Like, it isn't really intended to be like a live Q&A. So I guess for streaming it would be more difficult, because you know, if there's like 3 people streaming that someone likes, then there's always going to be a choice between which one they tune into at that time.
Yeah, and it's like so hard sometimes because like a lot of effort goes into my streams. At least I try to bring my A game each time. And it's like I don't always want to play like the same game all the time. This happened when I played Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley. It's a great game, and I played it a lot for my stream, and I'd get really good numbers with it. But then after a while, I started to notice I wasn't as happy playing it. So it was like, do I choose my happiness or do I choose like the numbers? So it's. I mean, I'll go back and play Stardew Valley. It's not like a terrible game or anything, but this is a lot of things that streamers face that people, you know, they're like, oh, you just sit around and play video games. It's like, yeah, but how many times could you play the same game over and over and over again before you lose your mind just to try and make, like, you know, some kind of living out of it, you know?
Yeah, and like you said, like for you saying that to make a living out of something, it kind of is a case of, you know, you don't always play the game that you want to play. Sometimes, I don't know, it depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it as a kind of just, I'm playing anyway, I may as well just stream this sort of thing, then I guess you can play what you want. But I guess for some people, and you know, we've spoke to some creators who are thinking, okay, I'm at a stage where maybe I can take a day off work and try and do one day a week where I'm just doing content. It's kind of like been tied to something, kind of almost, okay, well now I have to make sure that I do this game. I have to at least have this game featuring once a week, sort of thing. Even if you don't want to do it, you have to think, but this is what brings subs in. So it's a really kind of difficult balance and really kind of underpinning where you are, I guess. And
that's something viewers don't really seem, because obviously it is very difficult to them if they actively subscribe to someone for, say, Animal Crossing. Then for all they have every reason to be upset if you start posting like Mario Maker or Mario Odyssey, it's then to a point of that's absolutely fine, you can have this criticism, but if I don't post this other game, if I don't branch off, then the second this one game that you do like is no longer like trending or is no longer the thing that people like playing, then that's pretty much a viewership, like a whole channel that is potentially just gonna die. And so it's difficult from that point of view as well.
Yeah, and I've actually had people like get mad at me for playing a game too much, especially like if I've gotten like really into a particular game and I just play it and play it and play it because it obviously makes me happy. They'll say like, oh, well, we want you to play that. Like, a lot of people want me to play horror games, and I don't really like playing horror games. And I know that, like, if I did, it would bring people to my channel a lot, because it's really funny to watch somebody scream. But at the same time, I like horror games, I just don't necessarily like playing them, you know? I don't know. So, that's...
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had people complain like, you do too much of the same stuff. I'm like, I'm trying here. I'm just trying to live my best life.
And I guess it kind of and I guess it, you know, who you are again depends on this, but I guess like for some people there's kind of an image that they like to uphold. Like, I know if JB were to play a horror game on the channel, I think he'd get quite concerned because, you know, he always tries to be really PG, some language could slip through if something really does scare you, and it's kind of like, you sometimes have to be careful with what you do.
Yeah, and I like my YouTube, I try to keep like the language to a minimum. You know, every once in a while I'll, you know, drop a bad word or whatever, but on my Twitch, it's like when I play horror games, it's like curse word the whole time, and I really don't like it. And I know that's, I don't know, I actually made my channel mature because I knew that I have such a potty mouth when I'm playing like when I'm playing games sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna put a mature on this, but like that's the only thing that's mature about my content is just my mouth.
No,
I just can't. Sometimes, games get intense sometimes. Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm quite lucky in that my initial reaction to a jump scare is just a ridiculously high-pitched scream. It's not really a
to the extent where people would think it was me.
But I don't know. There are I think there are very decent horror games out there, and obviously I've not tried them all. But I don't know. I would imagine it just gets to a point where all you're getting is quite a lot of jump scares, and obviously for viewers, if they like seeing that, that's fine. But I couldn't imagine doing predominantly horror games because I don't really know.
It's funny because you don't think it, but like it definitely takes a lot out of you mentally because you're constantly in that flight or fight instinct when you're playing a horror game, and you're like, oh, that sounds stupid, it's just a game, but like you literally are, because the whole time you're like waiting for the next thing to happen.
Yeah.
And I'll play them. It's not like I won't. I play games that have like horror, more of like horror elements to them, but not like strictly horror games. And I've kind of slowly dipped my toe into that. Like I played Little Nightmares, which is considered a horror game, but it's totally not super horror-y. And I played I think Bendy and the Ink Machine, and that was like horror-ish, but not too horror. And I was like, that's good enough for me. Like, if it's a little horror, just a little taste of the horror, it's okay. But when you start doing, like, I don't know, like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, that's when I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'll just watch somebody else play that.
Yeah, I can imagine, like you said, it's a lot in terms of just kind of heightened anxiety for quite a long time, which can be quite draining. Like you said, if you're playing a horror game on a stream for, say, an hour, 2 hours, you have spent 2 hours in some kind of anxious state where you're just scared as to what's going to happen next, and that can be quite a lot. Like horror movies, you sat there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and sometimes it's like, do you feel good afterwards, or can you feel like your heart is beating almost too fast because it is just a unnecessary anxiety amount you put yourself through?
Yeah, and you got to think that if you're building up a viewership or playing horror games, whilst it's not gonna like be inherently negative, if people are just tuning in to see you get scared consistently, then that's kind of very straining, because even if you did play a horror game, they could almost be, oh well, if it didn't scare you that much, then they're gonna think it's disappointing. Like
and that's what I noticed. I noticed that with Bendy, because people were like, oh, this isn't scary enough, and it was that moment where I realized I'm not gonna play games to please people, and I understand that I'm an entertainer or whatever, but at the same time, like, I'm also not gonna drive myself insane. I have a stream schedule. I'll try to keep to that stream schedule as best as possible. Life happens though, you know, like I can't always stream, and I try to stream as much as possible. And I'll try to play what people want me to play, but I'm also not going to play something that makes me miserable, because then it takes the whole joy out of the whole streaming experience.
It does, and it's really good that you're at a stage with your content where you can kind of take that angle where you can just look back and think, okay, so this game might not make me happy, so this isn't what I'm going to do. It's really good that you've found an area in which you're comfortable and that you're willing to kind of focus on broadening kind of the audience there, as opposed, and like having kind of, I'm not saying this in a bad way to the other viewers, but to like have a quality of viewers that you know are there for you and what you're doing. So that's a really good mentality to be in and heading into a new year. Are you setting yourself any goals of what you'd like to achieve for next year?
I think definitely next year is just pushing out more content. I really, as much as I love streaming, I actually had discussed this with some of my viewers that I kind of want to move more towards like making YouTube videos, because just shooting and editing and all that stuff is really where like my heart, like I'm happiest, is like making videos, and my heart is telling me to do that. So I think what I might do is, instead of streaming, I might just like either switch to like YouTube Live and stream from there, and just kind of build a platform on YouTube. I love Twitch. It's not that I don't like Twitch, but I feel like it's such a saturated market that I don't know, maybe switching over to YouTube and just focusing on like videos would probably be what's best for the HarleyQ's brand. But I don't know yet. It's still kind of up in the air.
Well, that's certainly really exciting for us because we do most of our viewing on our Switch through the TV, so YouTube's like our predominant format, so we'd love to see more of you on YouTube next year. That would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I definitely, I will say, even if I don't like switch the live streaming over to YouTube, I'm definitely going to be posting more videos to YouTube. I have some pretty exciting ideas of like different series that I have coming up that I definitely think that could potentially take off. Fingers crossed.
That is absolutely amazing, and we really look forward to seeing that. So if any of our listeners are interested in checking out those new concepts, new ideas, can you just remind them where they can find you to be able to see that?
So you should definitely want to check out my YouTube. If I could speak, you definitely want to check out my YouTube channel, which is HarleyQ's Playtime. And if you want to see me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/HarleyQ's_Playtime. Those are the places I am almost always. I'm usually posting at least one video a week to YouTube. I actually have an idea for a video that I'm going to shoot probably tomorrow, and hopefully have that up in the middle of the week. The goal is to get at least one video posted a week, but yeah, life.
Yeah, we get that, and so we really are looking forward to seeing what you can like do and these amazing ideas for next year. So thank you so much again for agreeing to be on, and we wish you the best of luck for 2021.
Best of luck for you as well, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys, so our next guest today is not only been extremely helpful to me recently with some of the videos that I've been doing in terms of the Jurassic World evolution, but they also themselves have an incredible channel where, you know, it's just everything fun. They have some amazing vlogs. They have so much amazing Scooby Doo content that we absolutely adore. So smASH, would you just like to introduce yourself and tell everyone where they can find you on the internet?
Hello, yes. My YouTube channel is smASH, like you said. I don't know what else you want me to say.
No, it's just the YouTube's fine. It's like people can check out that amazing content that you've been doing. So in terms of content creating, how's your year been?
Honestly, it's like really sad to say. I feel bad saying this. It's not sad. I just feel bad for saying this, but like the whole quarantine situation has been like amazing for me because this year I really got to focus on my YouTube being home more, and it's really benefited me. I got past the 2,000 mark for subscribers this year, which was incredible, and I'm nearing 3,000 now. I don't think I'll make it before the new year, but you know, we can be there any day now, honestly. So in terms of this year, as much as the world has, you know, had struggles and, you know, everybody's been home and everything, I feel like I've thrived in quarantine.
It certainly has led a lot of people to thrive in terms of like YouTube, people creating channels or watching more videos. Everyone just seems to have had more time for that sort of thing. So for some
sure.
perspectives, it has helped a few people.
Yeah, like I'd go as far to say as like without the quarantine and everything, I don't think we would have started the channel like we have.
No, definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of this year, did you have any goals that you wanted to achieve? I know you've said that like, you know, the quarantine and things has really made the channel flourish, but I guess we didn't know that at the start of the year. So did you go into it with any kind of aspirations?
Oh, I apologize for your dogs.
Oh no, it's fine. It happens here too.
One of the, like, I guess some of the things this year was a lot of the knowledge I learned from Camera Camp last year in September. I really put into force this year. Some things I really slacked on before, I've really made sure to do them this year. Like, I was really bad not to take a proper thumbnail picture. I just like screenshot my video and then make a thumbnail out of that. But now I always make thumbnail picture, and I've done it's brought traffic to my channel just because, you know, the picture that you see first looks better. Here's a little YouTube secret I learned from Camera Camp. I'll share it with all of you. The most important parts of your thumbnail, whether that be words or a picture or something, should be on the left side, because if your thumbnail gets thrown in a playlist, or you make a playlist, it covers half of your thumbnail and it covers the right side. So as long as the most important things are on the left, more people will be apt to click on it. So I've really put that into force. So I think my biggest thing was actually presenting my initial thumbnail video, or for my videos, a lot more appealing. And then also actually audio, I finally got proper microphones rather than just using the direct camera microphone. So I think in terms of those, I think those were two of my biggest goals I went into the year with, was bettering my audio and bettering my thumbnail pictures and whatever. Everything else was just honestly because of quarantine. That was blessing in disguise, I guess you could say, me. Obviously not for everyone, but
see, that's actually extraordinarily interesting, because I've actually kind of been doing that thing with the thumbnails to the left-hand side, but purely for the fact that we do most of our kind of uploading and thumbnailing on mobile. So I guess, as you probably know, what happens is you get your nice looking thumbnail, but there's always a big timestamp of how long the video is in the bottom right hand side. Yeah. And so I'm always if it's an island tour, it's okay, well, I think this screenshot can go where it doesn't matter if something's covering it up. So that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, JB's been doing YouTube for a few years, but I only started because of the pandemic, and honestly, I didn't know that. That's been really insightful for me to know.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Never thought about that. It's amazing. So in terms of your channel this year, is there any kind of really highlights for you, things that you've really enjoyed, or something that's kind of happened that you were a bit oh wow, that's kind of a really achievement for me for this year?
I had a surprise moment, I'll say, this year. Because last year I had a really big surprise moment when I was on your podcast the last time. I talked about that Descendants reaction video just getting a bajillion views, over the course of minutes and everything. And I wouldn't say I had the same thing this year, but it was still a surprise this year. I want to say it was late April, maybe beginning of May. When right around when Scoob was releasing, all the merchandise started to release, and I wasn't able to find they made these action figures, and I wasn't able to find them. And then, of course, my girlfriend goes out and finds them all and brings them to me. I was like, "What the? How did you find these?" And so I was like, "Well, I have to open them in a video." And it was such a chill video. I honestly did not really set up anything. I was just I'm just going to open these for fun in front of the couch. I'm just going to chill by the couch on the floor and open these. And for whatever reason, that video has just skyrocketed in views. And so that was another kind of surprising moment of this year, was this video that I didn't put a ton of effort into is just still doing really good, and to this day it still is getting tons of views. I'm apparently people really like action figures, which, I mean, I don't blame them, but
that's amazing. And like you said, they were so difficult to get hold of that for a lot of people, maybe your channel's kind of the one chance to see them. And in terms of that, I'm just gonna record this sat on the sofa or the floor, I very much kind of can want to do that. And I'll often be JB, it's fine, we can do that. And if a video does well, he's just yeah, I can't believe you agreed to make me do that. We could have had a background, we could have done this better. I can't believe that. So when you were saying that, JB was just sat looking at me, and I was like, oh no, I can relate to this.
sometimes you're just not in the mood, but other times you are. But that's the hard thing for me is like a lot of things I sit and debate, should I do an unboxing video of this? Would it be interesting? So, I mean, there's a handful of stuff I get that I don't do unboxing videos of. But it's always the most randomest thing that you decide to do an unboxing of that just gets views, and you're like, oh, I wasn't, like actually planning to do a proper one, and yet really well. But it's funny what videos actually get views.
It really is, and it's honestly such a random, and like you get these apps and things that try and foreshadow where you're gonna, how many subscribers you get, how many views you get. But honestly, it just is a case of nobody knows who is going to watch your next video, and it couldn't be anything that you put out from, an unboxing of some figures or a vlog of doing something, and all of a sudden the views just start mounting up, and it's just like, how, why?
Yeah, like
no one. It's impossible
weird
to tell what somebody's gonna want to watch.
And I wish there was like almost a class that you could tune into for like why that is, because some things you'd expect to take off don't, some things you wouldn't do. Like for the longest time, the most popular video on our channel was us folding the origami from the Paper Mario origami series. And like,
and that was something that JB was just gonna leave to one side, and I was like, no, I want to like learn to do origami. Why not? It's just
I know it's
randomest
so
things that can kind of take off. So I know
for sure.
It really is. So I know that like for a lot of creators, this year's kind of had a lot of positives, and that people have had more time. Have you seen any kind of negative aspects to content creating, or has there been anything that you've been struggling with at all this year? Any kind of challenges?
I think one of the biggest things, well, okay, so since I have been home more and have been able to dedicate more time to my channel, which has been great, I thought I should make an upload schedule, just so that people kind of know when to tune into my channel. And I mean I knew this before, but I just, anytime I set like you're supposed to be uploading this day and this day, it almost stresses me out to the point where I just don't. And I mean for the most part I think I've been doing good. I mean recently I've been struggling, but it's because I went on that little trip and then came home and it's Thanksgiving. I haven't had time to like get back into my schedule, and my sister had to be quarantined because they thought COVID, which then thought I had COVID because I was around her. So it's been like a whirlwind of the last few weeks, and I haven't been able to get back on my set schedule. But I think in terms of sort of struggles, just the fact of that I've been able to put a lot of more time and effort into my channel. It's been interesting because I've really had to come up with ideas a lot more than I used to, because I'd make maybe a video a week, just because I would go to work and then I'd be tired and wouldn't want to work on videos and stuff. But now I have been able to have that time, and so I've been able to pump out more videos. And so I think the biggest challenge for me is I've been really having to kind of be creative and be like, what kind of video do they want now? What kind of video could I do that's different? It's funny though, because in around May when Scoob was out, like I was pumping videos really good because it's all around Scoob, I was driving traffic to my channel so much. And then as soon as the hype for the movie died, I have been like, what's next? Like,
see, that's the thing, is I think that for a lot of channels, they can kind of sit there for a couple of months, but then when, a trend comes back to that, it's going to just explode kind of on YouTube. Like, the next Scooby Doo thing that's announced, your channel is just going to, like, rocket again, and that's going to be incredible to see. And just kind of, you mentioned there about your trip recently. I really enjoyed, like, I think that trip was kind of led to some really enjoyable content. We kind of
it was
followed
awesome.
that. I think that was really, really good for the channel. We really, enjoyed seeing that, and the incredible Scooby Doo haul that was a result of that as well was.
And the editing, I love the editing style. How like there's some information, there's like I guess a few jokes, and then like there's like a musical interlude. It is so fun to watch.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's funny. I guess you could. Yeah, they were vlogs, but like, I mean, they're not doing super well on my channel, which I don't expect because not a lot of people on my channel are there for that. But there are some people that are interested. But what's funny is I always, and again, I really appreciate your guys' comments, but I always get comments that people love how I edit vlogs, and I'm like, that is actually my favorite type of editing. But I don't go do enough to film stuff like that,
I think it's a very kind of difficult world right now to be able to kind of do vlogs. It was so nice that you had that kind of time to go out in the snow, because for us that was probably the only snow we're gonna see this year, was watching that vlog, and so it's kind of good to be able to like live that through you. But I do think that kind of just the climate at the minute with the world is gonna be, I don't know, I think it was amazing that there was just that time to get that vlog, because it just kind of was a little escape for us as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of vlogs, just that it's almost like you're taking someone else with you on that. And we genuinely don't get any snow where we are in the UK. It's literally just like mucky slush that appears on the ground.
Oh no.
I could barely believe what we were seeing. It was amazing. So
yeah, we had to drive quite a ways to get there to get the snow, but it was fun.
So you've said to us that you're nearing that like kind of next milestone with the subscriber count and all that sort of thing, that this year you've been able to work on thumbnails and things a bit more. What are you kind of looking forward to for doing next year?
So one of my biggest things for next year, I really want to collab more. I might have said this in your last podcast, but that is like my biggest goal for next year, is to collab more, because I feel like I have comments a lot of people like, oh, you should do a video with this person, or you should connect with this person, but I don't know. I always just feel like, oh, I'm too small to do that, like I don't actually try to do it. And so I mean, even if us smaller creators collab and connect, like it's really, really cool, it's a lot of fun. So I think next year my biggest goal is to really connect and collab with more creators on projects, because I think it'll bring a whole lot of new content and experiences, and honestly maybe push me and maybe whoever else too into new creative drives that maybe we haven't thought of or even tried. And so I think that's my biggest goal for next year, is just to connect with more creators and try to collab with them.
I think that's a really good goal, and just some kind of like reassurance that I guess we could offer you is that JB was kind of really confident with YouTube, whereas I'm a lot more shy, I was a lot more apprehensive, and I think he reached out for our first collab when we had about 15 subscribers, and the person said yes. Surprisingly.
Oh gosh, yeah, like
Nice.
What was it? The first kind of like bigger creator that I reached out to, we had like you say 15, and they were like 7,000, and oh my gosh, they were really nice.
So it really is possible. There is an amazing community going on out there in YouTube. So I would say that is a really, really amazing and achievable target that you've set yourself, and like honestly just run into that as quickly as you can, because there are so many amazing people out there that you could connect with.
Yeah, and honestly, in terms of like subscriber count, that's like the last thing to get like put off by. We've spoken to obviously people that have had thousands and thousands who have kind of said no. We've had people of thousands that have said yes, and equally We've had people with less subs that have said no, people with less subs that have said yes. So it's kind of all about the person, really. But I think if you find someone that can collab, it's such a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we're really, really looking forward to seeing what the next year has for you. Like we said, we love any type of videos that you're putting out, be it a vlog, be it, you know, unboxings. They're all absolutely amazing. So we're looking forward to seeing that and what the new year holds for you. So thank you so much again for agreeing to be on today. And if what you know, your goals for next year have kind of struck a chord with anybody else, if they would like to check out some of your content, or even if anybody's interested in setting up a collab, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, so, I mean, we already brought up, you can find my channel, smASH. Except if you search Ashton Hardy, that's usually the easiest way to find me, because I didn't come up with a more creative name for my channel. But I'm also, like, on Twitter. I think I just changed my handles. I think it's just Ashton Hardy, and then underscore at the end, and that's the same thing for Twitter. Those are the two main active social medias I'm on. So yeah, Ashton Hardy underscore.
That is amazing, and they will be included in the description as well. So again, thank you so much for agreeing to be on today, and we wish you all the best of luck for 2021. Okay guys, so this next guest, I'm going to say this is a special one, because when we found this channel, it was one that was quite close to us, in that this is Stilo, and they are part of an incredible YouTube couple. Now, all the other creators that we'd met at this point were kind of working individually, but to have found somebody who was kind of working together as a couple the way that JB and I do was really, really special. So Stilo, if you'd just like to introduce yourself and tell everybody where they can find you online.
Thank you so much, Millie, for that lovely introduction. So yeah, my name is Stilo, and my wife is Cree. We go by Stilo and Cree. You can find us on our YouTube channel as well if y'all are interested for some ACNH and some other Nintendo content. Our channel is Stilo and Cree Play AC. And we are also on Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit with that same name, at Stilo and Cree Play AC.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And so, you know, we did have a podcast with you a little while ago now. And we're just kind of curious as to how you would have said this year's gone for you now in terms of, you know, creating content, and just have you been enjoying things this year?
So as far as content creation, this is our first year ever doing anything like this. We've both thought about it in the past, like what if we, you know, tried YouTube out or did like some sort of content creation. However, we never really, I guess, figured out exactly what route we wanted to take with it until Animal Crossing came out, and we just became obsessed with the game, literally staying up all night together, like beginning of the pandemic. So literally just staying up all night together, playing the game together, designing our islands and everything, trading with people, finding people on Discord, Twitter, and everything to try to get new items, materials, and all that. So we spent a lot of time on Animal Crossing and also getting to know people in the community and everything. And that's when we started to, I guess, kind of get this idea of, hey, we should actually maybe give this a shot, maybe make some Animal Crossing content. So we kind of, you know, just took that idea and ran with it and bought a game capture card and just started recording some simple island tours and everything. Now we've evolved to also just covering like the updates and news in the community, as well as expanding into playing a few other games, mostly like Mario games and everything, pretty much strictly Nintendo, because it's kind of all we have right now. We don't have like a PlayStation or Xbox. But yeah, it's kind of how we got started. As far as how it's been going, we've loved it. It's just been so fun, and it seems to have been pretty well received by the community. And we just really, again, love the Animal Crossing community and have had a lot of support from it and see a lot of great people and great things happening in the community overall. So we've been definitely very pleased and very happy.
That's absolutely amazing. And honestly, I think, you really said it right at the start there of Animal Crossing has been such an inspirational game for so many people this year, and a lot of people who have never played Animal Crossing before have come across this game, and honestly it's been like a saving grace to them throughout the pandemic and things. It's given them the feeling of being able to go out, to have that open space, a way of expression. And honestly, I just think it has been such an incredible game for so many reasons, including the fact that, it's brought your content onto YouTube.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, like I mentioned, it was one of those things that it's like, we've been talking about this kind of honestly for maybe like a few years, even like randomly early on dating stuff. We were just like, oh, this is kind of cool because we've seen like there's a lot of like couples that are like influencers and have, whether they'll have pages or vlogs on YouTube, or you'll see them like on Instagram or other areas and stuff. And we're always just like, maybe we should do something like that. But again, we just never knew exactly what and everything. And that's not to say that we won't maybe expand a little more in the future and maybe try out some other things. But this is really, again, as you mentioned, kind of our saving grace during the pandemic, and something that honestly just actually helped us a lot to just kind of get by, because it was just so miserable then for everybody. And just being able to still, again, kind of, while we're still adjusting to this new normal and this new world, be something that we can, just as you mentioned, still kind of feel like we're still able to go out and, do some things, doing some decorating, talking to some super cute villager animals and everything. It was just amazing.
It's been brilliant for everyone, that game. I'm really happy that kind of see it got the recognition it deserved with the Golden Joy-Con award.
Yeah, excuse me?
Yeah, there's this thing on like, I don't know if it's on Twitter, but there's this kind of like Golden Joy-Con thing. It's like an award show. I think it was streamed, and yeah, Animal Crossing got the kind of Nintendo title of the year and everything like that, which is fantastic. I know, like, I guess in terms of sales, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still kind of wins out, but no.
For the game itself, Animal Crossing
won the day.
The game of the year, which was so well deserved.
That is amazing. I personally was not aware, so thank you all for, I guess, keeping me hip and letting me know about that. Yeah, I was not aware of that. And yeah, I could see Mario Kart 8 having beaten it out possibly in sales at the moment, because I know it's also been out, I believe, a bit longer and everything. And
yeah,
but definitely, I do honestly believe that Animal Crossing surprised a lot of people with the volume that it pushed as far as sales, both physical and just digital copies, because I believe the last thing that I saw as far as sales, I think it beat out pretty much every other Switch game. Like, I think it beat out Smash Brothers and other really popular games.
Yeah, I felt so sorry for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, because that literally came out more or less the exact time as Animal Crossing. And
oh my god,
no.
It kind of lost out to the game,
which is kind of upsetting, because I really loved that game, and it's like a remake of a game that I really liked, but because I guess like sales might have been hindered by Animal Crossing, I don't expect that they'll make another one anytime soon. But Animal Crossing is awesome.
Yeah, wait, Mystery Dungeon. Did they? Was that like a remake or something of the one? Didn't they have one up for either the Game Boy or the DS or something?
Yeah, there was one for the Game Boy that was Red Team and Blue Team. I think they did a few others on the DS and stuff, but like this was a remake of Red and Blue. It was called like Mystery Dungeon DX.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Animal Crossing really overshadowed a lot, because I didn't even know that they had a remake for that. Oh my gosh.
No, Animal Crossing has, I think, stolen the show for so many kind of Nintendo fans this year. And so going into your channel and, once you'd kind of set out what it was you wanted to do, did you go into it with any kind of goals of what you'd like to achieve this year?
Going into it with specific goals, not Exactly. I mean, at this point, we kind of plateaued in the 800-ish subscribers. We were kind of on a roll a little bit before. We kind of slowed down a little bit with content creation because we just got so busy, unfortunately. But we're hoping to kind of get back on it and push out some more content. Hopefully, our initial goal was to hit 1K by the end of this year. Not sure if we're going to be able to make that at this point. But I guess as far as goals for the channel, if we can maybe break 2K next year and probably also be in a position where we maybe start to build a little bit more of a community. I know that a lot of YouTubers now have like Discord channels and all that. We've never had or like hosted or started our own Discord channel, so something like that could also be like one of our goals, even though we have no idea where that would begin and where we would like necessarily go to look for moderators and all that as well. But it would be pretty cool to have like our own little community to like support each other and everything as well.
Yeah, we're very much in the same boat with that. Like, I guess before I started the podcast, I would often describe Discord as the bane of my existence. Like, I really don't know how it works. I don't understand it. Like, when I first was introduced to it, to me, it was just a bit more like a confusing version of Skype. I was very adverse to it. Now I understand it a bit more, but I wouldn't know the first thing about setting up like a Discord community, but it does sound really fantastic, and I do definitely think that you guys are going to hit 1,000 quite soon, because, I don't know, subscriber amounts seem to change so much. Like, we were very much in a position where we were stuck at like the 100 mark for such a long time, like a month, 2 months. And now we're kind of building momentum a bit, maybe because we've got some viewership in the UK and they're going into this second lockdown now or something. Like, so many things can influence it. And I guess it's just about finding that next, push forward.
That's true. And I also personally like the addition of the kind of different content that you all did in the channel when you all like did the unboxings and stuff, like the Mario Kart game and everything with the actual like physical carts and everything was really cool. And I know you guys even got like the Lego pieces, and you guys even did a video on the sales and on the eShop for like a Cyber Monday and everything. So I thought that was really interesting too. It seems like some of those videos got a good amount of attention, especially the fact that you all seem to be pretty on it and pretty early on when it came to covering the content. So I think that gave you all a bit of a boost in viewership, in my opinion, too. And I think that was a great idea and great call from you all.
Oh, wow, thank you. Because honestly, I will look back on this moment and like kind of like pinpoint Mario Kart Live Home Circuit as one of the big catalysts for like getting the channel a bit more noticed. I mean, it was to a point where it was a bit worrying, I guess, when that started to die down, because then you're kind of thinking, like, what's next? And initially I thought it'd be the Game & Watch, and it didn't really work out that way, even though they did do quite well. But honestly, yeah, those, oh my gosh, I just think back to it, and that was just such a surreal time.
Yeah, no, it just looked so fun, and it's such a unique concept. That's something I definitely will give to Nintendo. That's the concepts that they have, and that they're able to actually kind of blending video games also with like real life activities is pretty cool, in my opinion. Like the Ring Kong, the Ring Fit game and everything. I thought it was also pretty cool. And I know that they have they had this this whole thing with like cardboard pieces that you can utilize to like make different tools and all that. What was it called?
Nintendo Labo.
Labo, yes, the Nintendo Labo. Yeah, and I was like, wait, that's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Again, they kind of continue to kind of push the boundaries of these ideas of kind of, again, being able to play video games in a different way, and I think it's great.
It is great. Like, Labo isn't something we've like ever got or ever really thought about getting, but it is awesome how they do have like a way of bringing kind of niche things, like when the whole kind of gaming community is focused on virtual reality this and what are we going to do next with virtual reality. Nintendo's kind of like, oh well, here's something that's augmented reality. It really is awesome.
Yes, that's exactly true. Yeah, because that's the VR experience seems to be getting a bit more attention, especially now that they're able to actually be a little more accurate with it, in my opinion. I still feel like we're still a ways away from like a true like amazing VR experience, but I have no doubt that we're going to get there and that people are going to be able to play some crazy VR games in probably the coming years.
Quite probably. I mean, I remember JB seeing Mario Kart Home Circuit for the first time and going, do you know what, this is actually what's going to shape the future of gaming for like our children at this point. It really is. Like, I feel like Nintendo take huge steps forward.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's just so cool and it's so innovative, and the Nintendo Labo and everything, the commercials and stuff that I've seen for it, you see a lot of younger kids putting these things together, assembling them and being able to play with them too and everything, and it's just so cool. It's kind of reminds me of like I remember reading a while ago about just a random article on just the increased focus on just STEM overall, and mathematics and everything for kids in school, and just different programs and everything. And I feel like it kind of falls into that, the idea of kind of like putting things together, building things, and just seeing how they work and everything. And that hands-on experience is just invaluable.
It is. And, we'd like to thank you so much because you've been so kind about our channel during this video. And, I mean, I feel like we really should, like, just look at how incredible your channel's done. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you from this year? Things that you're really proud of, that, that you've achieved? Anything that stands out as, like, a big moment for you?
Any particular big moment? Let's see. I'm trying to think back on some of our specific videos. One thing that definitely I think stands out was when we were invited back to Hellman's Island. So we did a video. Yeah, so we did a video earlier this year. I think it was in the summer. So Hellman's Island, which was an island created by Hellman's Canada, they partnered with Second Harvest Canada to essentially donate food and meals to those in need in Canada. We thought that was such an awesome partnership between the two, and the whole concept was they were going to recycle spoiled turnips. So if you bring your spoiled turnips to the island, drop them off at Hellman's Island, for every spoiled turnip, they would donate one meal to Second Harvest Canada. So we were able to thankfully get a spot and DM them this past summer so we could actually go record a video. And just they ended up having a second a kind of an updated island and a second kind of partnership with Second Harvest Canada about a month ago. And we actually got an email from their marketing team asking if we wanted an exclusive tour the week before they actually opened up the island. And that we thought was so cool. We did not expect that. We're like, wait a minute, why us? We don't even have like 1,000 followers or subscribers or anything yet. But we talked to our editor about it, and he was super excited for us. And he's like, "Yeah, they probably saw the first video you guys made and liked it." And we're like, "Whoa, that's cool!
That's
Holy moly, that's insane!" So,
whoa, like that's like a dream thing.
Definitely a highlight. Yeah, that was really, really cool for us. Yeah, we never had anything kind of like that happen or anything. Where like a major company had a marketing team reach out to us to like, you know, do a island tour of their island or anything like that. So that was definitely, I think, a highlight for us for sure.
I mean, that is so incredible. And I guess for anybody that's looking at starting YouTube as well, just kind of normalizing things a second here for, like, you know, if anybody's having any problems in terms of YouTube, is there anything that you kind of stumbled across in this kind of first year that's kind of presented a bit of a challenge or that's been a bit difficult for you?
Let's see. As far as I guess overall advice that I think I would give to someone kind of starting off and everything, and I say this because I've also heard it and read it as well myself, and I completely agree. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, definitely have it be something that you enjoy and that you're going to like doing, and basically kind of create content that you would enjoy watching, because it, in my opinion, just comes off a little bit more genuine when you do content that you actually enjoy and that you would watch yourself. Now, as far as certain specific difficulties that I would say I personally run into, I have in expanding on the channel and trying out different things, I've noticed that a few things haven't really stuck well. So like, say if you look at like some of like the viewership and everything, some of the videos that we have, like some of the Mario ones that we tried out or whatever, for example, really didn't get a lot of attention or a lot of views or anything. So you kind of, you know, like see like, okay, so people on the channel might not necessarily be into this as much, and me personally, I kind of still enjoyed making the content. So I would say if it's something you enjoy making, just still go with it and everything. At some point, you know, someone that does enjoy it might land on your channel and watch it. I didn't feel the need to like, you know, take it down or just be like, no, this is kind of, you know, ruining our flow or anything like that. I thought we should just kind of leave it up. And as far as the longevity of the channel, and I think that this is something that you all did pretty well, is if you're going to, if you definitely plan on, you know, really going, kind of really giving it your all with YouTube, the software and the hardware are unfortunately things that you probably will have to invest in. Like the game capture card that we just invested in to, you know, just to even start this was not cheap, and it was not easy to get, especially in the beginning of the pandemic. Oh, the game capture cards were very, very scarce. They were very scarce. We had to buy a third party from, I don't even remember the name of the website that we got it from, but we got it, and we had to pay more than it was worth, more than retail price, unfortunately. But I guess all that to say is definitely keep in mind more so that it's going to be a bit of investment, not just, you know, your time and energy, but it will be a, you know, financial investment and everything. So as far as like to really make sure that you have a good quality for the videos and everything when it comes to like audio and video and everything. So definitely keep that in mind, that you may, you know, eventually have to upgrade some of your equipment and everything later on. And I guess last tip, if you are like us and don't have the best initial hardware set up, basically our pretty old laptop that might not be able to handle video editing as well, see if you can kind of find an editor. We ended up finding someone to edit our videos, just, doing some basic searches online on Google, and we found someone on Reddit that was able to, charge us, pretty fair, a very, very fair price, in our opinion, for editing our videos, and we're just super thankful and grateful that we found him, because he's been instrumental in our content creation. So definitely, if you need some help, whether it be you don't know how to edit and you don't have the time, or maybe your laptop might not even be able to handle video editing very well, definitely don't feel shy from trying to reach out and see if you can get some additional help. There's no shame in asking for help for a channel, whether it be for an editor or just asking questions.
That's some really, really good advice. And I think, especially, you touched on a few issues there yourself that kind of makes that advice so prominent, in that capture cards became really scarce because there are so many new content makers out there at the minute that have had more time amid the pandemic and things. So, I think there's some people out there that advice will really kind of resonate with and be quite important too. So I think it's, some really, really amazing points that you raised there.
Well, thank you.
So you mentioned that kind of... Oh, sorry. After you.
Thank you. Oh, no, I was just saying, I was just agreeing with you, saying, there's definitely been a huge increase of content creators in the past year, which, of course, includes us making these Animal Crossing videos and stuff.
No, you're right with that. There's just... I just think that a lot of people have had so much inspiration from Nintendo, or just from that additional time that they've had this year.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Okay, so you mentioned that, in terms of 2021, you'd be looking at hopefully, really pushing the channel in terms of building that community and hopefully hitting 2K subscribers. Is there anything else that you'd like to look at doing in the next year?
As far as content creation goes, personally, I think it would just be pretty awesome to kind of do more kind of joint videos like this. This has just been really fun. This being the second time that I've been able to do this with you all has been really fun, and I've enjoyed it a lot. So being able to do more videos like this, maybe with other content creators. I know that you all have reached out to a good amount of other content creators, and I think it's great. So I think that that would be another thing that I would definitely want to do a little bit more of this upcoming year. The last person that I reached out to about something like this was actually Bobby from Nintendo Gurus. I know that you all saw the news and everything about him, and have been spreading the news. From what I've seen, he's been pretty stable in everything, which I'm thankful for, because he just seems like a great guy. Overall, very nice, and I love his content and videos. So hopefully, I can be able to do a collab with him. Once he's getting ready and better and a little more settled, of course. And then probably some other content creators, whether it be in the Animal Crossing community or maybe some other communities as well.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, Bobby is amazing. They've always been so great for the community, and honestly, it's to a point where now that they're kind of recovering and everything, it's almost left a huge dent in that little corner of the community, and it's, oh my god, but they're really really nice.
I mean, he's awesome. Always been so good for the community. Whenever there was some issue or some person in the Animal Crossing community kind of stirring things up, he kind of was like, okay, well, I'm not scared, I'm going to address this. And I feel like he's helped a lot of people, because I feel like a lot of people see the Animal Crossing community as a kind of safe space, and I think he does try and protect that really well. And he's just always been such a good person, so you know, we're really, really hoping that they get better soon and that you'll have the chance to work with them, because honestly, I think they were kind of a bit of a turning point for us. If we were to go through some moments that have really been an achievement for us this year, was they really helped us hit that 100 subscriber count initially, and they were amazing, so amazing.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of people that they've, you know, collabed with and everything, and the support from the community has been great throughout his recovery and everything. And we just think that that's, you know, just a testament to like just how overall good of a person he is.
Yeah, like, oh, it was fantastic just like seeing how many people came out of the woodwork to really support them. Like, they even had the support of HollyCrossing, which is, I guess, in terms of numbers wise, they're kind of like the big daddy of the Animal Crossing community. So that's just so cool.
Oh yeah, Chase is definitely an OG when it comes to the Animal Crossing community and everything. Yeah, the Chase, Maymori, Ben, and there's just been a lot of people that we saw early on, especially like early on in the pandemic, making a lot of Animal Crossing videos, and we're just like, wow, these are so cool and so amazing to watch. We want to do this one day. So yeah, that was definitely a lot of great influences in the community, and I completely agree that the community overall is definitely what we feel is a safe space, or it has been a majority of the time. Again, there are some times where, you know, there's some, you know, not that great.
Yeah,
they're very nice people in the community trying to rile everybody up. We've seen that even recently, unfortunately, a good amount. But overall, we've seen that the community does want to be a safe space for everybody.
I think so too. And thank you so much for agreeing to be on again today. We wish you the best of luck for 2021 and the best of luck for the Nintendo Guru too in that speedy recovery, so that, you know, he can be back in the community and working with you soon. So for everybody who's listened today and would be interested in, you know, checking out your channel, can you just tell them again where they can find you?
Yes, of course. So we are on YouTube, and our channel name is Stilo and Cree Play AC. Stilo is STEELO. Cree is KRI. And we are also on Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit with @StiloCree_Play_AC.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for being on today. So everybody, that was the amazing Stilo from Stilo and Cree. Okay guys, so our next guest is another absolutely incredible person from YouTube. They do some streaming and share my love of all things Animal Crossing Amiibos, which is just perfect. So we have Amy. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone where you can find yourself on the internet?
Yeah, hi guys. So my name is Amy Games, known on YouTube. I do a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons content and stream on the weekends. I also can be found on Instagram and Twitter. My username is _AmyCrossing.
Okay, that is amazing. Thank you. And, you know, we love your content, and especially, you know, like anything Amiibo related is just incredible to watch. To have found somebody else that collects them is just amazing. So how's this year been for you in terms of content creating?
It's been exciting. It's been changing. It's 2020 has been the year where I started New Horizons, because obviously it was released earlier this year. So it's been a different year, and we've grown, and I've met amazing people like yourselves, all my viewers, other content creators, so it's definitely been a very good year.
Well, that's so sweet of you. And so when exactly did you start doing your channel? Was it with New Horizons?
No, so I've had my channel for quite a few years, so I previously did a lot of content for another game known as Yo World. I kind of just stopped making videos, mainly because I was busy in real life with work commitments, and I traveled a lot with my job, and then it kind of just went on pause because I also stopped enjoying making content because that community for that game is quite a negative community. So there was a lot of negativity happening on my channel, so I kind of just stopped. And then when New Horizons came out, I was like, let's give it another go. I debated on setting up as a brand new channel, just because of the negative side, worried it might come back. But it's been fine, so exciting times.
This is what makes you an especially interesting person to have on this podcast. Is some people, you know, with the pandemic had more time and they started content creating this year, but you have that kind of knowledge to see if things are different, both, you know, a couple of years ago and now creating content amid the pandemic when people, you know, have more time to view videos and that sort of thing. Did you kind of notice a big difference in between the two times of making content?
For me personally, no. Only because, you know, I know a lot of people was impacted this year with furlough and things like that in the UK. My job's probably busier than ever. I do a lot of online stuff. So I work from home, but I also support people from all around the world. So it's trying to balance everything, I would say. So for me, it's the same. Working 5 days a week, only like 10 hours long each day. But I know a lot of people have had time on their hands, and it's introduced a lot of people that probably wouldn't have made content be able to make content. And so for that reason, I think it's been great being able to meet people that I probably wouldn't have met this year if the pandemic hadn't happened.
I'm just in awe of how amazing your job
awesome.
sounds.
I don't want to give too much away, but it's data intelligence is what I would say for YouTube. We can talk about my job offline.
And so in terms of, you know, content creating for you, like in this year, when you came back to it with, you know, New Horizons and that sort of thing, did you set yourself any goals of anything you wanted to achieve this year?
To be honest, no. I said to myself, I want to make content that's different. I don't want to be piggybacking off other people's ideas, and I kind of want to try and be committed to it as well. I don't want to be that person that starts once and then drops off and doesn't do it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing to like make sure there was some security and that sort of thing there.
Yeah, I mean, that's like an especially important thing, especially with like how good the community is, and I guess kind of more on that, how positive this community is in comparison to the kind of UWorld's community. What's the kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say the best thing, but what's some of the most memorable things that have happened to you, I guess, this time round on the channel?
I think it's the friendliness 24/7 on the comment sections, even outside of YouTube. Everyone wants to get to know you for you, and I think another one was the collaboration videos that I've done. It's been amazing to collaborate with people who are willing to, and people who are there for the collaboration but also there afterwards as well, and like they don't just do the video and be gone, and people are constantly supporting the community. I learned about things like raids, which I didn't know existed. So being able to raid other live streams when yours is finishing, so then you're sharing your viewers with someone else and it helps their channel grow. So I think it's just such a friendly community to be in.
It is such a nice community. I guess coming into it, we didn't know what to expect in terms of, like, we started with a few Mario related things, and then Animal Crossing was where our channel really started to develop, and just the people are so incredible. It was beyond what we imagined it would be. So like you said, there is so many nice things about, you know, being like creating content, and especially in this community. But for you this year, was there anything that kind of strikes you as one of the more difficult areas of content creating?
I think it's the things that happen offline. So the video editing, the ability to be sure that the videos that I'm publishing is good enough quality for YouTube and for viewing. It's quite a lot of pressure, and so for me, I found it quite tricky to be able to do that and commit to the challenge that I set myself at the beginning of the year, to make sure that I was sort of publishing content pretty much daily, especially with my job in work and things like that. So for me, it was just trying to find the balance of being able to do everything offline and even like promote things like through Twitter and Instagram, even all of that takes time to do outside of YouTube. So I think it was just trying to find that balance.
Yeah, it can be such a juggling act because there's, like you say, there's the recording and there's thumbnail, there's so much, and even when all that is done, like you say, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, it's like, it kind of takes so long to get a whole video completed, but I think you've done a really good job with it. Like, I guess even like, just like, oh my gosh, like, I think, what was I watching the other day? It was like, All You Need to Know About Cookie. That's such a fun series.
Oh, it is. JB instantly had an Islander that he wanted to submit
I was
for
like,
that.
oh my gosh, I've got so many.
Like, you certainly come up with very creative ideas, and I think that's part of the reason that you are flourishing with this. You did just sit and think, you know, what can I do that's absolutely amazing, but that maybe has been overlooked by everyone else. And you honestly are incredible. We love your channel.
Well, thank you so much.
So in terms of, you know, this year, we've seen that, you know, it's been amazing. You've done really, really well. The content is incredible. What goals are you setting yourself for next year, if any?
So I want to continue doing what I'm doing today. I do want to set a goal to try and sort of potentially broaden out into another game as well as New Horizons. I don't know what that is going to be yet, but I know that a lot of people that watch my videos have asked for things like Among Us. A few people have asked for Mario, so it's kind of just trying to think, what else would I enjoy to do, but also make sure that it's not going to bring in negativity to my channel. But on the flip side of that, I'm really hoping that New Horizons, I don't get sort of burnt out with it, and I'm hoping like something exciting happens. We've got the 4K Switch hopefully coming out, fingers crossed, so that might be exciting, being able to play in 4K.
Yeah, I think that's so good to kind of I guess branch out. I mean, it is scary, to be honest, because like you say, the kind of bubble of safety that Animal Crossing gives you is very comforting. But I think as long as you're doing something that you really enjoy, that positivity will follow. Like, what type of games do you like playing offline?
Yeah, so for me, it's games that you can progress in. It's not like a necessarily Mario, because Mario, you race around and then that's it. Whereas I prefer games where you get to collect items, you get to build your own story to it, you get to customize your story to it. So I don't know. It's going to be a tricky one to find the right one, I think.
See, I can relate to that. I think when I was a child and used to like look for games to play on the internet, they were like called story games or something like that. And one of my favourites for something like that was Sims. So like you could create houses, you could make progress in designing things, you saw families progressing. And like for all I do like games that's just like a one round thing, like a Mario Kart or an Among Us, ultimately for like a game that I'd put a lot more hours into is something like Sims or Animal Crossing.
Yeah. But Among Us is fun.
It is.
And you can do so many things with it. Like, I think what were we doing the other day? It was like playing the game a bit differently, where it was almost like hide and seek. So you'd know who the imposter was to begin with, and they'd just like chase you around, and you had to like kind of do your tasks before everyone got, I guess, offed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm going to definitely consider it. Maybe just do it as like a weekend stream. We branch out onto different games, but keep Animal Crossing for main channel videos. I just find it easier to make videos on the likes of New Horizons, because it's so easy to like do something and not be committed after you've finished it. Whereas I'm worried in other games you might end up starting something and then you're committed to, finishing the map or finishing the challenge before you can finish, and then it's the same each time you play it. So that's my only worry.
Have you come across any games, be it Nintendo or anything that you could really use for a capture card to stream or make content with? Any games in the past that you'd like to see remade or remastered in the next year so that you could make content of that? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, I
think the big one for me is Fall Guys. I really want to play Fall Guys, and I know that it's available on PC, but it's for Windows, and I'm a Mac person. And so for me, I think I really hope that they make it for Windows so that I could have a go of it. But I don't know what other games to be remade. Maybe like new Sims, maybe, or something new.
That would be amazing. And obviously, you know, we love your Animal Crossing content. Is there anything that you'd like to see Nintendo introduce for next year that you could make content on? Any kind of updates, anything that you've heard about previous characters, or, you know, you collect Amiibos too. Is there any Amiibo cards you've come across and you'd like to see that character introduced in Animal Crossing?
Yeah, so I think the biggest update for me would be like Island 2. Or like having the ability to have your second island and fly over to it with Orville and be able to customize that island and have additional villagers on it. And so like an expansion pack type of thing, I think would be amazing. But also to have Series 5 Amiibo cards where you've got like Raymond and Judy and all the villagers.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah, JB has been backing that for a while. Like, because they did introduce a lot of new people. There's Pirate Gulliver, there's Flick, there's CJ, there's both of the Dodos, Orville and Wilbur.
Yeah, I would literally set up a direct debit to Nintendo for like 50% of my earnings if they would just do that. Like, oh my gosh, I would love that. I need that. And oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm getting too excited.
Definitely. Yeah, for me that, or just something to be able to collect, even if it's not a free update. I'm always in the mindset, if it's a small price to pay for the update, i.e. that expansion pack, to be able to have a second island, maybe it's like an extra £10 or £20. I think it's something that people would still be able to get, even if they ask for it for like birthdays or some sort of like Christmas present maybe. As long as it isn't overly priced and it added so much value to the game, I think it would definitely be something that most people would be interested in.
I agree with that too, and I think I'd like to say I think Nintendo are doing things okay at the minute, because obviously, you know, as of recording this, we're on the build up to Christmas, and they seem to have got quite a lot in stock at the minute. Like, they still have the Amiibo cards in stock and things, and I've been trading with people and speaking with people who have literally just put them on their Christmas list because, you know, like, I think, you know, a lot of people may lack appreciation of what other people can afford, and I think to have things ranging from, you know, Amiibo card packets at $3.49 to, you know, Nintendo Switches, it really does kind of provide for the entire community, and Animal Crossing does provide for everyone in a really nice way.
I agree.
So thank you so much for agreeing to come and record the like 2020 reflection and kind of views for 2021. We really do wish you all the best for the next year. We will definitely be following your channel and can't wait to see what's next from you. And if you decide to branch out and play any other games, then we're definitely there to support that too.
We would love that, even if it's something like simple as if you want someone that isn't gonna say some unspeakable things on like an Among Us stream, we're there to like just be like an imposter or something. That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing how everything works out for you, and we're sure it'll be amazing.
Oh, thanks, guys. And the same for you too, you know. Happy 2020, even though circumstances could have been better, but excited for 2021. And so, Happy New Year.
And as well, we're grateful for everyone we've met, because full 2020 hasn't been the year that everyone hoped it would be. I think we've met so many people through content creating that we wouldn't have done in other circumstances, so I guess we're grateful for just even the few positive things that come from what was a terrible situation. But again, thank you so much, and all the best for next year. So guys, that was the incredible @_AmyCrossing on Twitter, also Amy Games from YouTube, and some other channels, Instagram, all that sort of thing that she mentioned at the start. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much to Amy. Okay, so our next guest is, honestly, I mean, I don't like to say our favourites, but they definitely stand out to me as an incredible person from when we did our 5-Star Talk podcast with them earlier this month. So we have back on the podcast with us today, Leanne.
Hi.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this and be on this collaborative podcast. We are just so excited to see what the next year holds for you. But before we get there, I'd love to talk to you a little bit about how this year's been for you. So how have you found this last year? Did you set yourself any goals before you started out or anything?
No, do you know what? Not really. Like my channel tagline is making life one big happy adventure, and what I do in that is basically I tell the story of me. So that is basically it. So I started off the beginning of this year just doing my normal vlogging, my lifestyle stuff. So like my videos, my hauls. I'm addicted to this shop we've got in the UK called Flying Tiger. So I literally, that is what I was doing. And then March came around and this wonderful video game came out called Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it changed everything. I originally started my channel to be a gaming channel. I wanted to play Minecraft. Literally, that's all I wanted to do was play Minecraft. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I don't know what it was. It was maybe YouTube was oversaturated. So I went into like the vlogging lifestyle things, and then coming back into the gaming world to be like accepted with open arms was the most amazing thing ever. I suppose the only goal I really had this year, and I'm not a numbers person at all. Do you know what? I couldn't even tell you how many subscribers I've got at the moment because I'm not bothered. I'm literally, anyone that chooses to watch my videos, I'm so grateful for, but I genuinely don't care if it's 10. I don't care if it's 50. Honestly, I just like doing it. The only person that has to really like the videos is me, and that's how I see it. As long as I like what I'm doing and I can sit and not cringe at my own videos, then I'm happy with it. But like I was saying, the only goal I really had was the one video a week, and I think the whole year I've been able to do it. I'd love to be able to like increase it, but just working commitments and time has been really different in that sense. But yeah, I suppose the biggest thing that I've done like differently this year is I've embarked in the world of streaming, which is something completely different. So yeah, sorry, I'm so bad at like asking. I probably asked, that was probably what your next question was going to be. I am so bad at just talking.
No, we love listening to you.
I'm not very good at being interviewed.
No, we do love listening to what you have to say, and you've really had a good year this year with, you know, with the videos and with streaming. Is there anything that stands out to you as like a best bit, a favourite moment, something you were really proud of from this year?
Well, I suppose I shouldn't go, I mean, it only just happened really recently, to me anyway. But I suppose I really should mention the fact that I went on the radio and I spoke the national radio in the UK, not once, but twice, and spoke for a community in the most positive way. And that is probably going to be my biggest standout moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, I literally have had amazing opportunities this year to be able to work with some of my friends in the content creation world, but they're in a different side of it. Whereas, for me, definitely being able to speak to people about playing video games and the communities that have been created through it has been my standout. And I mean, I don't think you guys will disagree with that.
I mean, honestly, I think speaking on behalf of that amazing community is incredible in itself, but just getting on the radio, that's like a lifetime achievement. Yeah. And for that just to be your yearly achievement just sets you as an amazing kind of inspirational and just really high-flying woman. Like, you're doing amazing.
Yeah, and I suppose the other thing is as well, I think that's like probably like a really big wow out the ball moment. But then my other thing was my biggest standout video this year, it isn't anything to do with any games or anything, was the very fact that I actually was able to have my mum on the screen with me. So I started YouTube because my mum said, why don't you do it? And there's a video actually from this time last year, because we'd just come back from Iceland. for my husband's birthday, and my mum was like, yeah, well, I'll do a video with you. And in the first that's my favourite video of the year, and I think I will actually speak about that in my yearly wrap up, because it was so special to be able to have the person that inspired me to actually pick up the camera in the first place and do it, albeit badly to begin with, in my opinion. Others will say other things, but to actually be able to be in a video with my mum was the best thing for me this year. Like that speaks volumes against anything else, because she means so much to me.
Well, we're really glad that she did convince you to start YouTube, because we are really, really enjoying your videos. And, you know, like you're saying about setting yourself that goal of a weekly video, and despite everything the world's thrown at everybody this year, you still managed that, which is incredible, and, you know, some amazing achievements. But I guess everybody seems to get things that can drag them down as well. And did you find any part of content creating or streaming or anything this year particularly difficult at any time?
Yes, so I'm not going to name and shame, because that's not me, but I was a moderator in quite a big community, at the beginning of quite a big community, and there was some difficulties that came up. It was more, instead of having my gaming head on, I sort of still had my managerial head on, because I was a manager as well in my day job, and I didn't forget how to interact with people, but I was very, very proud, but like one of the driving forces of that community, and when that all stopped, that was really difficult on that side. But then I mean, things like this happen, people change, and unfortunately some content creators are not as wholesome as they make out to be on camera, which really makes me sad, because I am what you get. Like, I do share the good, the bad, and the ugly on my channel. So if I'm having a bad day, it's some of my favorite videos, and it sounds really bad because they aren't the big happy adventure that I was talking about, aren't actually my big happy adventure. It's when I'm having bad days and I'm talking to myself and I'm recording that I've had a bad day, to remind myself that it's only going to get better from here. So, like, I don't like talking about negative things that happen, but they have. But we move on, we find better things. Like I found different communities to be able to be in now. And I don't know, it's part of your, like my big happy adventure is that it's take each day as it comes, and one day at a time, to experience it together. I mean, it is that. We're like, what else are you going to get if you don't talk to other people and spend time with other people, right?
Absolutely.
And I think people do tend to forget that those bad days can still be part of that happy adventure, because sometimes you don't know how happy you are until you've known how kind of unhappy you can be. Sometimes, like, if things are taken away from you or they're not there, that's when you realise how important something is, or how happy you were on one occasion. Sometimes you do need those bad days just to remind you how wonderful this happy adventure is.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what's really, really, really important. And it's one thing that I'm sort of exploring now, with the fact that I've picked up another creative outlet by doing bullet journaling once a week, and I stream that, which is really exciting. It's not something I've brought over to my YouTube channel yet, so you guys might not be aware, but it's something that I will be bringing over, and it's sort of another creative outlet. And it's, again, my big happy adventure. I call it my big happy adventure. But the rest, that's only half of my tagline. The rest of it is making life one big happy adventure. You've got to take the good with the bad. You've got to take the bad with the rough with the smooth, for it to be able to to make it what it is.
I mean, genuinely, that is great, because it's just all about using a negativity as a platform to spring off into something positive. Like you say, you've got a lot more coming up in the future, that you're bringing over to the channel and everything. So do you have any goals for 2021, anything that you'd like to add into your collection of positives?
Oh, well, just to basically keep doing what I'm doing. I'd love again to be able to do the one video a week on at least one stream a week. I think that's my plan. And to be able to do that alongside my day job and actually adult. I think to be able to do that, I think it's a big ask, and I don't think how I'm going to be able to do it for that long. But again, I've got the community behind me, and I know I should be able to do it. And if it doesn't work out, we'll reevaluate when it doesn't work out. But yeah, it's exciting.
Okay, I think, that's certainly a really, really good mentality to have, and the community, including us, are really, really excited to see what the new year holds for you. And, in the hope of seeing at least that one video a week and a stream a week would be absolutely incredible. Like you said, next year is going to be a different year. This year's been a year like no other, and you've absolutely smashed it. You've done amazingly, and we hope the next year is just as successful for you. So for anybody listening to this that kind of has picked up on this video, how incredible you are, and heard how incredible your content is as well, where can they find you on the internet?
So basically, anywhere with the handle Lecosanne, so that's LECOSANNE. If you can see, if it's got that handle, it's probably me. If not, so that's on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Oh, and I'm on Facebook, but I don't really use it. So, but yeah, as long as it's got the handle Lecosanne, it's probably and most definitely me, because it's the most random name and no one gets, but it's me.
Well, we can't recommend enough that you all go and check out Lecosanne, because honestly, this creator is amazing, and they have done so much incredible work this year, and I'm sure there's going to be even more in the next year. So again, thank you so much for agreeing to be on today.
Oh no, thank you, and thank you to you two as well. Like, honestly, you are pinnacles in this community, and it's lovely to finally get to speak to you in person.
Oh, thank you. It's been lovely to speak to you as well. Okay, guys, so our next guest on today is another one that I've been really excited for. So they were on our podcast earlier this month, and the conversations about the Game Awards and Animal Crossing, especially from a creative perspective, was just incredible. I would definitely recommend you checking that out. But here to talk about this year and their goals for next year, we have back the incredible TJBurns. So do you want to just introduce yourself, if that's okay?
Hello, I'm TJBurns, like Amy said. Oh, like Amy said? Sorry, like Millie said.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Podcast earlier this month. Just going to breathe past that.
Oh, no.
Anyway, we had a really good discussion. I mainly do Animal Crossing, but doing some other stuff here and there as well. Loads of different live streams on whatever's relevant and enjoyable. But yes, here back again to talk about the new year. So excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Millie and JB.
So how's this last year been for you? We know you started content creating kind of the summertime. How did you find, setting up and making videos and streaming and things?
Well, I actually started my YouTube channel back in 2018, not gonna lie, but it started off with Fortnite videos, and I did a Detroit Become Human walkthrough, which is still a great game, by the way. But yeah, I came back this year doing Animal Crossing. I thought might as well. I've always really enjoyed playing games. I've always kind of wanted to somehow make it a career, and hopefully, one day I can achieve that goal. But yeah, I just one day made the conscious decision I'm going to start doing Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch based games. I actually started off with Mario Kart. I had a good maybe 7 Mario Kart videos, and then Animal Crossing got released. I started off with that, got really good views with it, so I carried on with it. And then here I am. It's been a great year, quite a wild ride, and literally went from 35 subscribers to I think we're 1,200 and something now. So cannot complain.
That is amazing. And just from seeing your videos, that we know that growth was definitely deserved. You do have some amazing videos, and coming into the Animal Crossing community and content creating in regards to that, did you set yourself any goals that you wanted to achieve this year in terms of the content, or was it just a case of seeing where it goes?
It was definitely, so I think initially when I first started uploading, it was kind of just testing the water, okay, let's see if I can even get a couple subscribers, let's get to 50, just playing this game and see where it goes. And then when I actually started getting traction, I was like, oh, you know what, like this could be doable. Let me try and get to 1K subscribers as quickly as I can. I don't know how quickly. I think it might have been like 3 or 4 months I got to 1K, which was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, I just kind of went all in with Animal Crossing content, loads of giveaways and stuff, loads of different videos with different purposes to entertain, loads of different live streams as well to get people engaged. And yeah, I just went all in. I was literally, I want to get to 1K subscribers this year as quickly as possible. And then after that, we'll see what happens. And yeah, achieved it. So happy days, happy days.
That's
definitely helped
awesome.
with coronavirus.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess more on these achievements. Is there like one achievement that you look towards and say, this is the one that kind of was the one that I'm going to remember for this year?
As in, so like past one, or well, yeah, for this year. It probably was just hitting that 1K. I remember the video and stuff we did. I literally was dancing with Jalla the monkey, who's the little monkey who's always in the background of my videos. I remember when we hit it, literally I was playing what's it, the Crab song by Noise Storm. I can't remember what it's called. Is it called Crab Song? Like, I'm not going to do it because we get demonetized, but that song. And I remember literally just like doing a little like dance party.
Oh yeah, with that music video with all the crabs on the beach like swaying from side to side.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh.
I just remember that moment. It was really good. But literally, I just remember starting my journey as well. Like, I remember when I came back to YouTube, my first subscriber when I came back. So I was on 35, and the first person to subscribe, be my 36, was a person called Anna, who's one of my mods. Fishy Anna, shout out to you. And like literally, most of my mods kind of joined me on there, like very at the start. It's just been crazy. It's actually been crazy how much people you kind of get involved, but also like how much people you talk to, but also how much people you don't talk to, but are subscribed to, which is really good. So. Been crazy.
It really is a bit of a roller coaster creating, and like you said, just the amount of people, how the variant of subscribers, like the ones that comment and like every video, the kind of background ones, like you can be doing a live premiere and you see there's 7 people but only 2 are commenting, so it's like you still know that they're there. But yeah. I think, you know, this has been a difficult year for a lot of people, and not just from the content creating side, but in terms of that, have you kind of found anything even particularly difficult this year? Have there been any struggles in terms of content creating?
I think like towards the end of the year, so yeah, like sort of like the December, November period, it has been a bit more difficult. I kind of started a new project at work as well, so it was a bit like intense at some points. It's trying to like juggle like having a full-time job and content creating and live streaming like all at the same time. But yeah, I think towards the end of the year, obviously, I mainly did Animal Crossing, low-key getting a little bit bored and it's dying out a little bit in my opinion. But I'm still struggling along. So I think it's just we're at a stage now where I'm struggling probably with creativity and like having a bit of writer's block. So I've made the conscious like decision to like just sort of step back.
Yeah,
I think you still there?
Yeah, I think like it did very much kind of affect people. There's been a roller coaster this year with lockdowns and people returning to work, and then people like getting put into lockdown again. So it's very much been a case of we've got all this free time. Oh, we're back at full-time work. Free time, and it's just kind of been an absolute roller coaster in terms of views, in terms of people that can create.
100%.
And so
I feel like a lot of people have created like channels and stuff now as well. A lot of people have been put on furlough. A lot of kids being locked up for summer. So it's like, what else can we do? You know, just make content. If be it TikTok, be it YouTube. I think it's been a great time for content creators.
I think it has. I think it's opened a lot of opportunities up for people because people ordinarily wouldn't have had time to set up a channel. So we have seen so many more people join the community this year, and it's just been amazing to see.
Yeah, I agree.
So we know you've had a really successful year with YouTube this year, and it's been amazing to watch. But do you have any kind of goals or anything you'd like to achieve or do differently in the next year?
So in the next year, obviously, I just want to keep on going as well. I think I want to get a bit more passionate about a game of sorts. I feel like I was really passionate about Animal Crossing. I still am semi-passionate about it, but like, I put in so much effort when I first started. I think my YouTube channel, I was pretty much like making sure I was doing 3 videos a week, making sure I had like live streams pretty much like 4 or 5 times a week as well. And like literally like weekly giveaways. I was proper like all in with Animal Crossing, and I think now like where people have got a bit more educated about the game, everyone sort of played it, it's died down a little bit. So I think for the next year, I just want to find out what is the next step for me, because I feel like yes, I can continue Animal Crossing right now, but there will be a day when it becomes no longer relevant, or you know the content becomes a bit stale, and I don't think it's true to myself. I've always sort of been a person who's liked to jump from game to game. Like I got loads of consoles. I always generally have a Nintendo console, like be it a DS, a Switch, a Wii, whatever. I've always sort of been a PlayStation player. I've got like PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, blah blah blah, and I'm a PC gamer as well. So I've literally got so many different consoles, and I love jumping from like console to console. So I could literally be playing Call of Duty tomorrow. I could be playing Among Us on mobile or PC, and I can be playing like literally Animal Crossing. So I think for me, my next goal for this year is what is the next step for TJBurns? What is the next step for the channel? And how can I continue to sort of take it forward and make sure my success is continued and not like stagnant?
I mean,
so that's my thoughts.
That is a really good attitude to kind of have going into this, because you know, there is a kind of stage sometimes with content creating where you can be like, okay, well, this is the video that people have got used to me putting out, so this is what I'm going to put out. But just that you're at a level where you're still at a stage where you're like, you know what, this isn't necessarily what's right for me. I need to find what's right for me. That is an amazing stage to be at. So that in itself is an achievement.
Thank you. It's going to be difficult though. I'm pretty sure like depending on what the next steps are, I probably will lose subscribers. But at the end of the day, like I said, I want to make this a career. I want to be able to, you know, play loads of different games, produce loads of interesting content, produce, you know, guides and stuff as well, and just make sure people have a great time on YouTube when they're watching my content. But more so, make sure my sanity and my state of mind is like I'm always loving what I'm doing. And yes, I've loved Animal Crossing. I love editing and stuff, but it's just like there's other games out there. I love story. Like, I just love any game. I'll play fully any game, be it a sports game, be it strategy games. Like I'll literally play anything, and I love it all. And that's true to myself. I like to jump from game to game, and that's what I want to do. I just want to be able to, you know, be consciously happy with my decisions, and yeah, just take that passion forward always. I don't want to ever be, you know, fed up of a game or feel like I've played this game to death. You know, I want to play it for a decent amount of time. Be like, okay, I've really enjoyed this. I've produced like, I don't know, 100 videos on this. I think that's enough. Let's move on to the next step. But it's going to be very hard.
And have you heard of any games that's coming out in the next year that you might kind of feel gravitated towards in terms of where your content's going next? Or is it just a case of, you know, we've not heard about the game yet and you'll just know it when you come across it?
See, it's really hard actually. That's a really good question though. But I think on terms of Nintendo Switch, looking at the games sort of like the big like names that they've sort of released, I think I looked at a website probably like Games Radar or something, or like Nintendo Switch games releasing in 2021. The only one that really caught my eye was like Breath of the Wild 2, which I definitely will be playing. I'll probably do a walkthrough on it, but I probably won't do too many videos on it. But in terms of like actual like proper games that I can see myself again playing for like a year's time, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what's relevant. It's like sort of like Fortnite came out of nowhere and look how relevant it is. You never know, a game like that could happen again, something different. Among Us as well, Fall Guys. We'll just have to wait and see, I think.
And it's certainly going to be interesting to follow your channel and just see where, you know, the next year takes you. So for anyone listening, can you just tell them where they can find you online if they're interested in, you know, seeing where this year goes?
So on YouTube, obviously, I'm TJBurns. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm TJBurns_gaming. Also have a Reddit, and I got a Discord as well. Discord's probably the most popular place where I'm most active and chat to people and get people involved in videos and giveaways and stuff. So that's definitely one to watch. But yeah, obviously check me out on YouTube.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you again for agreeing to record this with us and being on the podcast today. We wish you all the best for the next year. That wraps it up for all our guests today. Just a little shout out here. One person we really wish we could have invited back onto this podcast is the Nintendo Guru. They are amazing. They helped us so much in the early days of our channel. They gave us an amazing shout out which helped us hit our first 100, and so we are so grateful to them. They are currently, you know, quite ill with COVID, and we are setting their own 2021 goal for them, in that we want them to have a safe and quick recovery and to have them back making content as soon as possible. We have missed them so much, and honestly guys, please, if you have a second today, just show them a little bit of love and help them out. Just head over and watch a couple of their videos, give them a few likes, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and just, you know, give them that little bit of help where you can. It honestly will make all the difference to them, because they are such an incredible channel. They've managed to be monetized now, and just the fact that they've been able to not upload content for a while now is really going to have affected them. So please just like those videos where you can. I know they will appreciate this so much. So they are at Nintendo Gurus. They're the Nintendo Guru on YouTube. Please guys, check them out and subscribe. It would not only mean the world to him, but it would mean the world to us as well, just that they have that support. Again, wishing them a safe recovery for 2021.
Yeah, and this has been pre-recorded on the 8th of December. So if any luck, by the time this video comes out, they'll be back, they'll be healthy. But regardless of any of that, without a doubt, they deserve some subscribers and some views and some likes, because they are like probably one of the most genuine people on this platform.
Honestly, I think you would struggle to find anybody that honestly has this passion, this care and commitment to the entire Animal Crossing community. They are so brilliant. We love you, Bobby. Please get better soon. That concludes on our incredible guests for today. That just leaves JB and I to kind of determine where we want to go next year and the year that we've had. So how would you say that this year's been for you, JB, in terms of content creating?
I mean, it's been a weird one, not gonna lie. I guess it started as some rudimentary setup when we just got a tripod and we were aiming it at the TV, recording ourselves play Mario Party and Mario Kart. And it's just evolved into something, I guess, so much bigger than that and so much more fun. Because initially I just thought it was going to be us talking to the void. And in actual fact, we've wound up meeting some of our closest friends, which is just mind-blowing.
I agree with you there, JB. And like, the next thing that I guess we asked our creators is just, did this come with any goals for this year? And for me, when we started creating, the only goal was we needed something to kind of keep our mind active during lockdown, and that was our main goal, and it's progressed way beyond that. Would you say you had any different goals to that, JB?
See, it's a weird one. I've always thought that I'd want to, expand and be featured on other channels, which we've done thanks to those amazing people like HarleyQ and Amy Games.
And smASH as well. We can't forget smASH for that amazing vlog he did.
And as recently as joining TJBurns on their Among Us stream.
Yes.
Like, so many fun things we've been able to do. And I don't really have a goal. Obviously, like, the main thing we can say now is 1,000 subscribers, which would be amazing. But I think we've made so many close friends at, the current mark we're at, just shy of 500. So it's like, if you can continue to build that and get so many more connections and people that we're friends with, I think that's going to be the real victory at the end of the day.
And JB, for you, what's been the best bits of this year?
Oh gosh, I think it's just the circumstance more than anything. It's how things have lined up perfectly. Like, something made me stay up one night to randomly search stuff on Twitter, and that led us to Annalise and their tour, which is, has led to so many other amazing things. I guess it's just how the stars have aligned themselves to just make this such a great time. But if there was one that I can fully kind of utilize, I actually don't know. I don't think I can physically point to a time. I guess maybe when we hit that initial 100 subscribers mark, because that was the point of time that we kind of knew that it could be something more than we thought it would be.
For me, I'm gonna say when we did the Songbirds and Snakes podcast, it was the first video that we both did that we both took seriously. It was, for me, a huge confidence thing. So naturally, I've got anxiety. I'm always really, really nervous and shy. And I actually sang publicly for the first time on that podcast. And just in terms of content and just in terms of owning who I was and confidence and all that sort of thing, that for me was the big turning point. That's when it went from more than just, okay, no one's seeing our videos, it doesn't matter, to quite a few people have seen this video. I was me, I was confident, and nobody said anything bad, so do you know what? I'm actually really happy in this.
Yeah, and some people could say you would never stop singing after
yeah, that's true. Now you can't shut me up. Every Christmas tour I have some beautiful rendition of All I Want for Christmas Is You or something like that. So in terms of difficult bits for you, JB, so I will admit you have the kind of harder side of the channel and you do all the tags, editing, descriptions, all that sort of stuff. So what for you has been the most difficult part of this year?
Just seeing how trends can just make you feel so disheartened, you know. Like, we got an idea to make a goofy Mario Kart Live home circuit video, and I do love that video. It was great fun to film, but at the end of the day I was just chasing the cart around as we did some crazy stuff with it, and that blew up to say 10,000 views.
Yeah, whereas videos that we put a lot of effort into just weren't hitting the view count the same way.
Like, one of the videos early on that I was the most proud of, that I thought was gonna, I guess, launch us into something, was tour number 10. And this is me talking about very early on. Of course, so many more tours have happened since then, but it just seemed like something that was so out of the ordinary. It was, you guys can see it, it was that creepy RPG 5-star island tour, Shunshell's tour.
Oh, I love Shunshell.
It was illustrated, it was narrated, we got to play the game, and it was all explained to us in the Q&A section. Plus, one of my highlights of, you know, you solving that kind of puzzle that they had.
Oh, I nearly screamed.
And that is currently, even after all this time, at about 120 views, which is still absolutely phenomenal. It's pretty much half of our, well, maybe even our full university lecture hall.
Yeah.
So it's still phenomenal, but it's like, you know, if us chucking Mario Kart somewhere can get 10,000, then it just disheartens me.
Yeah, when somebody has put hundreds of hours worth of work into something, I just wish it got more.
So that's been the struggle, really, but overall it's been amazing.
And wrapping up on this, NJB, we both need to set ourselves some goals for next year. So who's going first?
I think you should go first.
Okay, so I've set myself a few goals. We try not to look at numbers too much, but there is some subscribers in there, a subscriber number in there that I'd like to aim for. Now, I personally think that with life returning to normal, the amount of content we put out is going to decrease. We are currently at daily videos and heading back into normality a bit more after the pandemic. I do see this going down to maybe 2-3 videos a week, but regardless, I would like to hit 1,000 subs next year. In 7 months, we've hit 500. So I think with another 12 months, we might hit 1,000. So that would be one goal for me. The other two are a bit kind of closer to my heart and something that I really am interested in doing. I recently started doing playthrough of Jurassic Park and just kind of doing that on my own, and I've realised that I actually could be interested in streaming and kind of having a live audience to communicate with, because I feel like that's the element of that game that was missing for me. Is I was trying to speak as if there were people there, and I'd just love to be able to play a game as if there were. So if you guys would love to see some, or at least an attempt at me streaming, drop below what kind of content you'd be interested in seeing, and I will try and make that happen. Another goal that I've set myself, and I know JB is not quite on board with this yet, so I'm going to have to push quite hard, and I'm going to need your help in the comments as well. We started in the very early days of our channel doing this thing on Animal Crossing called Spinning Saturday Surprise. So what we did is we set up a studio, we had one of those colourful spinners with the 8 numbers on it, and each number represented a challenge. So one would be there was something buried on the island that you had to run around and find within a specific time frame. You had to identify a certain amount of fish from their catchphrases, that sort of thing. And I would love to relaunch that, but to have like some of the creators that we've seen in this podcast come on as the guests, some of our Animal Crossing friends. So I'm thinking Scurvy, Tiffa, Annalise. Just have anybody come and join as a contestant and just have a bit of fun with that, really. So I'd really like to see the return of that. So they're my 3 things. 1,000 subs, which, you know, a lot of people kind of aim for that, but I just think it's a realistic number to go for next year. Second one is streaming. Third one is the return of our Animal Crossing game show. So JB, tell me your goals, your hopes, your dreams.
See, I'm going to sound so shallow now because I guess mine revolves around finances. Like, I would like to be able to finance us getting our own place so that, I guess, and this is something that TJBurns said, but it's more like I can be as loud as possible and as kind of bombastic as I'd like to be in terms of entertaining. But also so we could have the freedom to go out and film whenever we want to. Like, obviously when it's safe, I would love to try and organise an event where we meet up with some of the kind of UK-based creators for either a gaming tournament or a kind of IRL vlog, or even like a kind of live version of the podcast where we're both kind of sat in a kind of makeshift studio. That to me would be absolutely perfect. I'd also like to fund a trip to Super Nintendo World when that comes out and vlog there. That would be amazing. And as simple as it sounds, I think that's my only goal, to just expand what we've already got going on the channel but elevate it so it becomes more like, you know, come here to see JB and Millie as opposed to this is this video and this is that video.
Yeah, I agree, and I really like that. I mean, admittedly, this vlogging from Nintendo World might be more maybe 2025 goal in terms of finances, because I'm planning a wedding before we do that, but we'll see.
Oh, we could get married there.
What, vlogging our wedding at Nintendo World?
Yes, we do it. We invite everyone that listens to this podcast.
Clearly, JB and I have very different ideas of what romance is. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this podcast. I kind of took this under my wing as my little baby. It's the first podcast that I've actually been in charge of, so really, really hope you guys like this. Please show it some love and like the video. Just help my ego and let me know I did a good job. Anyway, I hope you guys did like this. Please comment below what you would like to see on all of our channels in 2021. Thank you again so much to everybody who's agreed to come back on the podcast. We would absolutely love to see some love for them if you guys want to go and subscribe to their channels.
So, from JB and Millie, a very happy new year, and please make sure to like, comment and subscribe. JB,
Millie,
HarleyQ, Nintendo Guru, Poké Crossing, HollyCrossing, Steelo and Cree, smASH, Amy Games, TJBurns, and Lecosanne. Wow.
Happy New Year, everyone.